Louis Orchard is one of those people. You know, those type of people that are kind of like Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter. You mention their name and instantly the person who you mention their name to gets uncomfortable really fast. Louis Orchard is one of the greatest people that I have ever seen on YouTube. She has a lot of talent in her videos and is great at editing. She's legitimately the person that got me into editing and wanted to have a sex change. I have followed her since I first heard about her in May of 2014 when she did a collab with Josh Scorcher, aka the guy that made me a brony.
About that response video, I didn't mean for it to go that far, and I just wanted to say... Ow! Jeez, what'd you do that for?
What? It's in the past.
Point taken.
But ever since late 2016, I have lost interest in her. I have unsubscribed from her thinking that was going to be the last time I would ever hear from her after her one video on Josh Scorcher.
And that attitude can fuck off and die in a ditch along with the malignant human cancer that defend it. If you're a child watching this right now and you're being bullied in school, here's what you do. You demand that your bully cease their behavior, and if they refuse, grab the heaviest object you can reliably swing and beat their fucking teeth in.
Lo and behold, it wasn't. She made constant video after constant video that pissed me off. I didn't bother watching any of this shit because this, who I'm gonna call cunt, was not worthy of my time. But then she made a Steven Universe video in September of 2018 and called it garbage, and that was the last straw for me. So I figured that it was time for me to do a talk about her. I did a rant on her a year ago today, and since she continues to do shit even a year later, I figured that it was time to rant on her again. She's been accused of many things like slander, manipulation, pedophilia behavior, throwing everyone that she has worked with under the bus, and much more. Louis has become a critic that I wanted to be like, to a critic that no one should ever be like. So join me for the final time that I ever talk about her and see why Louis Orchard is still garbage. Before I start this video, I just wanted to let you know if you are 12 or under, you are not allowed to see this video due to copyright laws. That is what the law says, and all my YouTube videos are for audiences 13 and older. No one 12 and under. I do not aim at children, I aim at mostly adults. And here are some people that help make this video the way it is. My editors, my actors, and my artists. Just like my first Louis Orchard rant, I'll be dividing this video up into 12 different sections to make it easier on my audience, as you can see here. Alright, let's start this video. Part 1. Intro to Louis Orchard. Edited by me. I posted a question at the beginning of my last video on Louis with the question, is Louis Orchard garbage? And the answer was yes by the end of the video. This video is going to do something similar to my first question being something similar that will also be answered by the end of the video. What is the evilest thing in existence? I did a rant on Louis a year ago today. And you might be thinking to yourself, if you ranted on Louis Orchard before, what is the point of going after this monster again? Because I was stupid the first time around. The first time I did it, I got mixed results. People say that they loved it and thought it was my best video. Others said my video was garbage in of itself. People think I went too far. Some say not far enough. They thought that my mic was off as well as my OC. Some points I got wrong. Some say I was harsh on Louis. Others say not enough. So, I thought for a sequel video in celebration of its first anniversary and me reaching 50,000 subscribers, hey, thanks for that by the way, I decided to do another one. I'm not doing this for views or even money, believe it or not, but rather because I have things I wanted to say. I know how to start this one. How did I get into Louis Orchard? Well, to do that, grab your virtual whatever time machine you prefer, TARDIS, DeLorean, scroll, spells, cardboard boxes, you name it. And we must head back to the year 2007. 2007 was the year that I discovered YouTube, or 2008, whenever that one Foster's Home episode about their YouTube channel came out. Saw the episode, liked it, and then learned about YouTube from that, I guess. I was 11. I remember the first video that I saw on this site was a Lego Mario video on the first level of the game. and it was enough for me to keep watching the site. I also remember around this time interest in animation as a whole and just move on to video games entirely. Can you blame me though? I was not into animation. I thought it was terrible. Animation at the time was just awful, to be honest. Whether it be Nickelodeon making shows like Money Bee or Fanboy and Chum Chum trying to cash in on SpongeBob, or Disney not caring about TV animation but instead focusing more on live action, and Cartoon Network not airing a single new original cartoon on their channel in 2009. My mom once said, "You'll outgrow animation one day since it's for children." This was the late 2000s, so she was right and did have a point. At the age of 13, I wanted to be a video game designer. I remember doing a project in middle school researching Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario. I would spend the next 2 years of my life staying focused on video games and even made friends at my high school through it. I even went to college to learn to design video games. Unfortunately, I flunked out of college in my first year in 2016. But somehow that was around the time that I got back into animation as a whole. So now I love both video games and animation. While my animation interest increased, my video game interest kinda dwindled. But it's kind of ironic when I say that because the people I subbed to that did video games at first were now all of a sudden doing more with animation. So, go figure. I got a YouTube channel in 2013, but I started to really follow people in 2009. The first YouTuber that I ever subscribed to in 2013 and followed since 2009 was Alex Rochon. At the time though, this was not his channel name. It was actually called Peanut3423, and I will always remember the first video that I saw from him. The top 10 hardest Kirby bosses, and it made sense for me to watch that since I was into Kirby at the time. And I really loved the Kirby bosses, and I wanted to see what was the hardest Kirby boss. Since I seemed to enjoy his video, I would watch his videos for years. It's been a bit since I've seen one of Alex's videos, but there was one important YouTuber that he collaborated with that would be the biggest domino effect for me for the entirety of the 2010s. Josh Scorcher.
It's Pinkie Pie, don't question.
I will question what I damn well please!
Without Josh, pretty much everything that I enjoyed from this decade would be vastly different. My first few collabs I saw from him were the top 15 most disturbing bosses from non-horror video games, top 15 most hated characters in video games, and the top 10 saddest moments in video games. Josh was obviously the second YouTuber that I've subscribed to, and I would watch his video for years, ever since I found him in 2011. His video game reviews were just funny to me. However, on December 3rd, 2011, he would post a video that would change my life forever. He reviewed the pilot of a cartoon called My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Warning, this is not an entirely positive review, in fact is full of a lot of criticism. Remember that you bronies promise to love and tolerate.
When I first saw the review, I took it as a joke, because his top 15 most hated character games had a soundtrack of the My Little Pony theme song. What I didn't know at the time was that G3 and G4 MLP are two different things. But I wouldn't learn that until high school later in 2012, April. On April Fool's Day, I also remember the comic strip Foxtrot posted an MLP comic. So I remember Josh talking about that, and then decided to give the show a watch, and learn about this thing called bronies. Men that enjoy My Little Pony. I became a brony. I still remember the old days when Josh would state that he wasn't a brony, which is just hilarious in hindsight. Because of Josh making this decision to review Friendship is Magic, it got me into several other brony YouTubers that I still follow to this day. Maybe not as much now as say 2015, but I still really enjoy these people. One of these YouTubers that I got into was Louie Orchard. Well, that's not quite true. At the time when I was subbed to her, her name was Lily Pete. There were a few reasons why I used to enjoy her. Number 1 was that she was funny. Number 2 was how she was abrasive. And number 3 is her being trans.
Jerry's displacement into the mirror universe has currently left him undergoing a mentally crippling identity crisis, while our crack team of scientists consisting of Commander Firebrand, Billy, and this potato try to drag him back into Equestria. Please enjoy this special pre-recorded episode of Glass of Water.
In the early videos when she was still called Jerry, he would do comedy sketches with Josh Scorcher, and I used to laugh every time that he would beat up Josh.
About that response video, I didn't mean for it to go that far, and I just wanted to say... Ow! Jeez, what'd you do that for?
What? It's in the past.
Point taken. Now listen, there's something I want to... Ow! What was that for?
For the Canadian jokes. Really, you should be anticipating these by now.
Okay, fair enough. Now, as I was saying, I need your help to... What did I do that time?
Because it was funny. Rule of 3, Josh. Rule of 3.
Do you want to review this with me or not?
Sure, I'm game.
Thank you. You gonna keep your hands off that control pad?
We'll see.
Alright, assuming there are no more delays, I can finally give you my collab review of Over Son of a Mother!
When I started, it seemed like each brony was always just praising each and every episode, which I myself couldn't even say back in 2012 when I was 15. Ponyville Confidential I hated because it showed Diamond Tower being an asshole, and forcing the CMZ to be assholes to all the townsfolk to the point that even their own family turns on them. Louie was one of the first bronies that said, "No, this is shit, and it needs to not be praised," and her edgy humor kept me interested. Another aspect I enjoyed out of Louie was the fact that she was an editor for Josh Scorcher. For those who don't know, I am an editor myself for one of my inspirations named The Mysterious Mr. Enter, and I got into him thanks to Josh. But all of that would change in December of 2016. She basically was like this one big YouTuber named Leafy is here, a guy who got famous by insulting people and making commentaries over them. Louie would make a video called Glass of Water, Guard Break. I didn't think of anything of that video at first, until I found out about Louie and Josh's breakup that happened in October 2016. And I sided with Josh on that video, and here I am, 3 years later after that video, and I am still on Josh's side. Louie Orchard is one of my biggest inspirations ever. She's also one of the worst people I have ever seen in my life. And since we're on the subject of toons, I think it's best that we start off this Louie rant with her opinion of a certain critic that goes by the name of
Part 2. Toon Kritic. Let's get this fucking creep out of the way as fast as possible. I feel like I don't need to talk about Zachary Case for 2 reasons. Number 1 is that it's a done deal that has the not best ending, and there's nothing that can happen. And 2, I don't want to remind the victims that might see this as a past trauma. However, due to the fact of me talking to people not knowing who this guy is, I feel like I do have to talk about Toon Kritic in some sort of fashion. So, who is Toon Kritic? Toon Kritic is, or rather, was, a brony in the brony analysis fan, correctly named Zachary Case, and lives in Chicago. What he would do is review the show and analyze and speculate parts of My Little Pony. You know, like the rest of the analysis community. And like Louie, I used to follow his content a lot. Not as much as Louie, but was just an analysis brony that I like, i.e. the Team Fortress 2 videos, and I enjoyed Toon back in the day, maybe like 2015, 16, or even 17, give or take. I even met him at BronyCon in person in 2017, and thanks to Alessia, that was the first and last time that I saw him in person. In January of 2018, it was out that he was a pedophile. Now, unlike the last person that I accused of one who shall not be named, this time it is true. Zachary Case has admitted that he was one in a Skype chat. If you want to see it yourself, it's just a Google search away. I don't want to talk about the situation much because it is a dead horse. No pun intended. I will mention a little bit here since I have talked to people, bronies or not, that don't know Zach or this case, and they kind of need to know about the situation to prevent this from happening again. Unfortunately, as I'm making this, it has happened again in some sort of fashion. Zach was sexually dating a 14-year-old minor for 2 years in between 2016 and 2018. For reference sake, he was 26. This girl, who I'm going to call Susie since she was from the Philippines, that was the name of the girl that Zach was dating. Point being, Zach did shitty things like saw this 14-year-old girl's genitals and groomed her, and asked her to do sexual dances and dress in sexual skirts. Zach's words, not mine. Ugh. This is pedophilia. His final interaction with her was his plan for BronyCon 2018 when he had plans to fly her out to the event and have sex with her while she was still underage. Remember, the age of consent is 18, and he had plans to have her move in with her when she turned 18. Not Zach, come on, seriously? You know she's underage, and yet you still want to have sex with her. What the holy fuck is wrong with you? Oh, what's that? Oh, I thought that someone told me that the law said it was 12 for consent in the Philippines. You're from fucking America where the age is 18, dipshit. When this accusation came up, over 25 more victims, mostly underage women, came up and spoke about Zach. His pedophilia that was hidden in the closet was no more. Unfortunately, Zach deleted his social media account so he couldn't be traced, even though a technocracy would prevent that, but whatever. Point is, as of today's date, December 14th, 2019, he is still not in prison. He, from what I heard, still tries to go on Discord, mainly the Sonic fandom, and he tries to find minor girls to groom, meaning that he never learned his lesson and he still tries to have underage sex to this day. You could still find videos today if you look hard enough with Zach still in them.
It sure is good to be back from my little hiatus. Speaking of, I was supposed to do a collab with Toon Kritic.
Hey Bloom, yeah, we kinda ran out of ramen, so I had to borrow some money out of that little piggy bank. Hi.
Have you been here the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much. I've, been sleeping in your closet. It's, would make a complaint or so against the, tight space in there, but, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
What does this have to do with Louie Orchard? Well, was she a victim? No, not even close. What she did was make a response to this matter, and this was a bit difficult to parse. In my original Louis Ultra rant, I actually sided with Louis on this matter. The video is called Blame and Groom. I mean, when you have lines like this,
This is Zachary Kays, an MLP-centric YouTuber.
You make your video confusing, but we'll get to that more in part 3. But to nip this in the bud, explain to me why being MLP-centric is a bad thing. Aren't you MLP-centric yourself, Lily? Yes, being a pedophile is bad. That should be obvious. And if you think they're good, get some help. And I hate Zach more than you. But that part there insults me. It's like saying that him liking MLP makes you automatically a pedophile.
Zach is an unhealthy member of the community. Zach is still trying to find a sympathetic ear that will listen to him so he can continue to frame himself as a poor victim of circumstance who made a mistake. It got so desperate that he actually got his grandmother to call the other analysts and ask them to be extra special nice to him.
Let's talk about John Krick. He was accused of being a pedophile as well. However, I wouldn't say his content was crap, for the most part. He created Ren and Stimpy, and helped spark the animation renaissance. And without him, shows like SpongeBob couldn't exist, Avatar couldn't exist, My Little Pony couldn't exist, and without his influence, you, Louie, couldn't do Glass of Water because this video wouldn't exist. When I defend John K, I'm not defending him as a person. Blame on George goes more into this than I do, and you can find it yourself after this video. The point is, I love John's works, but I hate him as a person. Same with someone like, say, Dan Schneider. I used to love Zach's works, even in the Team Fortress 2 videos, but I do not like him as a person. No one does. No one is defending Zach as a person. When it comes to situations like this, they come through just his works, not him in the real life person. Yes, Zach is a scum and he deserves to be in prison. That should be obvious.
Zach has historically been about as charismatic as Professor Quirrell.
Okay, real tip. Whenever you are bringing up real crimes that a real person did, like pedophilia, do not compare them to fictional characters. It would make you sound somewhat more credible, especially when the case of the issue is still going on. You can compare Zach to a fictional character later on in life when he gets arrested, but not during the current thing. Also, these types of issues could take months to 100% clear and get all the facts. Louis, you made this video 4 days after Zach was found. That's less than a week. This is basically like that YouTube COPPA shit all over again.
If this really is a mistake, you certainly have a habit of making the same mistake over and over and over again and expecting to get away with it by giving a weak apology and pretending you've learned your lesson, what we academics call the Starlight Glimmer defense.
And put pin number 3 here. Let's talk about pin number 1 right here. I want to direct you to another video made by Josh himself, made on February 13th, 2018, 2 weeks after this whole incident. His video made much better clearing on everything. Josh also states in the video that he does not care about Toon.
I didn't want to believe it, but as I was shown the long list of Skype chats between Toon and Sally, it became clear that Toon had done something terrible.
Want to know why the call wasn't leaked? It was so that Zach couldn't worm his way out of this one. Because it was leaked, he deleted all of his social media so he wouldn't get caught. With this getting leaked to the public, Zach had time to delete all of his shit and so that he wouldn't go to prison where he belongs. If we kept the video a secret, Zach wouldn't have to delete all of his social media, the FBI would have correctly arrested him, and Zach would be in a federal prison right now in Chicago. What is it about animation critics from Chicago with the name of critic that are bad? Between Nostalgia Critic and Toon Kritic, it's clear to me that Chicago has some dirty people beneath that windy city. Except for you, Chicory Cheez-Its, you're awesome. This situation got so out of hand that Josh had to have a Discord chat with Louie, even though it was 18 months since he cut ties with her, and he hasn't talked about Louie since his Louie Pete video in October 2016. Josh explained everything correctly going on, but Louie did not go through with this shit. Louie has also talked about how Dr. Wolf and Silver were also really bad about responding. Okay, let's nip this out of the way. Yes, Dr. Wolf saying that we should forgive every single human in existence is bullshit. It could take years for victims to forgive their abusers, and more often than not, they never do. Yes, Dr. Wolf has been harassed about this bullshit video to death, and rightfully so. However, there's a reason that I forgive Brent. In Josh's video, Brent Wilson, aka Dr. Wolf, made an apology at the end saying that he made a mistake.
The video I presented was my message about forgiveness. Others provided feedback and fine-tuning, but it was always my message that I felt compelled to share. For each and every one of you who are in pain, who felt as though their voice wasn't being given a chance to be heard, I am sorry. For all of you out there who felt as though we should have taken more time to craft our message properly, I am sorry. And for everyone who is looking up to us, who felt as though we have let them down for any number of reasons during these trying times.
And that was admirable. Brent has admitted that he has made a mistake. So here's something that I learned the hard way. When you lie about someone being a pedophile, or also shit-talk someone and handling pedophilia in an incorrect way, you could be charged for slander, aka the crime for lying. And you know what? That's what happened to Louis Orchard. 3 months after Louis made this slander video, get this, Josh sued her. And Louis' response?
One thing I can say about Josh is that his woeful misunderstanding of the legal system is a wealth of comedy potential.
Did you hear the music that's being played right now? It's Susie's theme from Little Witch Academia. I know that may be a nitpick, but the thing is, it's a joke song. He treats this entire situation about a pedophile being a joke. I'm sorry, but how is a pedophile being funny a good thing, or even funny at all? And no, Herbert the Pervert is not an excuse. The reason that Josh didn't directly sue you, by the way, is a tactic that I learned 2 months ago. What people will do is send you what is called a cease and desist. It's basically a contract saying, don't do this shit anymore or we'll sue you in court.
In light of experiencing the harsh and severe punishment of fuck all for his endorsement of a pedophile,
except that he didn't. He never did once. If you saw Josh's video on the matter, you would know this. Also, they did remove Zach from the D&D videos FYI, but I'm not sure you don't watch that in your free time, Louis. Pin number 2 here. This is your shitty behavior, Louis, not Josh's, Zach's, or whoever. Josh has also listened to dozens upon dozens of victims of Zach. He created a Skype group chat specifically for that, and he cut off all ties of Zach. He even tried to make him better, but he gave up because Zach is a piece of shit. People call him the John K. or the Bill Cosby of the brony fandom for a reason.
Josh goes on to accuse me of threatening physical harm, and then linking to a Tumblr post where I use the metaphor of holding a gun to his head, which any idiot would understand as a metaphor, but then again, Josh was raised in a conservative household, so I guess language skills are a globalist conspiracy.
And that's pin number 4. We'll talk about politics later. Now that we got the worst brony ever out of the way, let's talk about what Louis thinks about bronies in general.
Part 3. Bronies. It's no secret that Louis hates bronies now, despite the fact that she is/was one. Unsure if she is still one. But we went from actually exposing a real pedophile brony that Louis gave out misinformation to this statement.
The brony fandom has a pedophilia problem.
There are only 2 ways that I can take this statement. Either A, the only people that can be pedophiles are bronies, or B, all bronies are pedophiles. But we'll call this pin number 5 for the record. Gotta say, I'm impressed that Louis has only done 1 video so far that needed to be in 2 parts. Yes, this is still from her Blame and Groom video. Not even the addendum one, just still the original. The only part of part 2 that was not from Blame and Groom was the segment of her getting sued.
The 2 largest sites for fan content, FimFiction and Derpy Boru, are packed to the brim with child pornography that just barely skirts US federal law on a technicality.
And pin number 6. I got a bone to pick with that statement from Louis, but we'll get to that much later in the video. We'll talk about Louis' full con later on.
On Derpy Boru in particular, child pornography makes up about 0.8% of the material on the site, and some people use that as a defense against any kind of criticism. It doesn't work because 0.8% is higher than 0, and 0.8% equates to 13,000 individual images. Do you know what the acceptable number of individual images of child pornography is? It's 0. 13,000 is way off from that mark.
And you're using statistics now? Okay then, pin number 7. Man, these pins are piling up so fast. I have a bad feeling they'll go onto my skin before this is all over.
He has consistently behaved like a bitchy prima donna crying harassment the moment anyone dares criticize him.
And you don't? Fucking hypocrite.
And I likely wouldn't have been in the position to make this video with the connections I needed to get real confirmation if it hadn't been for the fact that a year ago, Patchwork Heart confided in me all the horrible things you've done to them, like manipulating them into sexual roleplay, constantly misgendering them and refusing to make the effort to correct yourself.
Pin number 8.
I guess what I'm saying is, maybe you wouldn't be in this position if you had just respected the artist.
Pin number 9. We'll change videos now and look at this other video for part 3 on bronies for pretty much the rest of it, because this video pretty much tells what Louis thinks of us bronies. Now, for the record, I'm not a pedophile. And if you are a pedophile watching this video, stop watching this video, you disgusting perverts, and turn yourself into the police before you harm any more children. Also, not every brony is a pedophile. Are there bronies that are pedophiles? Absolutely. Fucking absolutely. But not every brony is a pedophile. In fact, most bronies are not pedophiles. That, however, is not what Louis thinks. Let's talk about Grizzly. Who is Grizzly, you may ask?
This is the story of Grizzly the Medic, real name Taylor LaSalle, a member of BronyCon security who is placed in charge of the safety of many people at a convention, including children. And he's also a child molester.
Well, at least I can finally use the pedo bear icon for someone specifically. You do know you have to rape a child or touch them inappropriately in real life to be one, right? Just say a pedophile like the real correct term, and hopefully he'll be a sex offender someday. No clue on what happened to Grizzly, FYI. Short point is, BronyCon is a great place, but I'm not gonna say it is a place that is for everybody. It is not a perfect place. There are many faults to it, but I can't talk about BronyCon right now. That's a video for another day when I eventually put my Brony vlog up sometime next year. For now, we gotta focus on what Louis says about this. Here's a little thing I also want to nip in the bud. I actually heard about Grizzly as well. Not sure if I met him like I did with Zach, but here's something that I want to say. Do you know who I actually first heard about Grizzly from? Josh Scorcher. I heard about Grizzly from him first, and he was not happy about him either, as he was supposed to be. Grizzly is a pedophile, plain and simple, and I heard about it from him first. So, Louis, you saying that Josh Scorcher defends pedophiles is a lie. There's proof right there that he does not defend pedophiles. And I sadly have to bring Josh up again because Louis talks about Josh. Louis has had 2 annoying running jokes in 2019 that are up there with the writing of season 10 of the Fairy Odd Parents. This is the first joke.
Josh, not that one. 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 I really fucking hate it when backwards-ass, Bible-thumping morons start passing off their delusional superstitions about forgiveness as good advice for victims of abuse.
He has apologized since. He made that mistake 19 months before this video. More than a year. And he has been badgered to death about that. He has fixed his mistake and moved on. He has learned from his mistake. I'm sorry, Louis. Are we talking about Grizzly or are we talking about Zach? It sounds like you're living in the past. Excuse me, Jerry P. Can you explain to Louis Orchard what she did wrong?
What to say? Ow! Jeez, what'd you do that for?
What? It's in the past.
It's amazing how much I have to turn to Jerry to fix up Louis. Also, Jerry also knew the rule of 3 when it comes to jokes. How many times do you talk about not that, Josh, in this video, Louis?
Josh, not that one. 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 Josh, not that one.
Way too fucking many, I see.
I really fucking hate it when limp-dick little cowards decide they want to avoid drama, all the while being as passive-aggressive as a 14-year-old rich girl during a pep rally. I really fucking hate it when sniveling little bastard men whose mothers clearly dropped the ball decide to take an issue of public safety and make it about how attacked they feel when they get criticism for doing nothing. I really fucking hate it when backwards-ass, Bible-thumping morons start passing off their delusional superstitions about forgiveness as good advice for victims of abuse. I really fucking hate how so many people who call themselves respectful and welcoming suddenly start fostering an attitude where everyone must get along and stop fighting without caring about why the fighting started in the first place. Just shut up and get along.
Again, this ain't January 2018 when we had our first major pedophile. Fuck, I didn't even know what a pedophile truly was at that time. Zach more or less taught all of us what not to do, and he taught us all what a pedophile truly was and how we should not be like them. But just because Zach was one does not mean every brony is a pedophile.
I don't care if you were assaulted. I don't care if you were abused, groomed, or preyed on. Just smile and be nice because otherwise the conflict will make me feel uncomfortable. No drama. No drama. No drama. Grow up. Welcome to the real fucking world.
You mean the thing that you failed to do, Louis?
And if you can't deal with that, then you need to stop pretending that you have any right going outside.
It must be sad, Louis, staying indoors all day.
The brony fandom has a pedophilia problem, predominantly because it's become a fandom space for pedophiles, predominantly because anyone with the power to do anything about it is a huge coward.
The problem with that particular statement is that Louis only picks on bronies as pedophiles, and not literally anyone else. Go on, name me one pedophile that she picks on that's not a brony. 0? Yeah, that's what I thought. You'll notice that she has never talked about Zach's recent outing earlier this year when he tried to groom minors in the Sonic fandom. Also, every fandom has pedophiles. Like, just look at video games. Undertale, Smash, Pokemon, TF2, Nintendo, FNAF, Universal Interactive Studios. You know what? Fuck it. Any video game fandom has pedophiles in it. And you can say the same for animation as well. Whether the numbers are bigger or larger than the brony fandom is not important. What is important is that all fandoms have pedophiles. I'm sure there are some for animation as well.
Just this year, BronyCon had a massive issue with almost every single motherfucker on the convention floor proudly displaying body pillows. And this wasn't one fucking table, they were everywhere. You know, maybe this shouldn't be allowed, maybe there should be some expectations of friggin' decorum, maybe conventions shouldn't allow this kind of shit. This kind of material is called After Dark for a reason, it shouldn't be in broad daylight.
Okay, to be fair, I do agree with Louis on one thing. There should be an After Dark scenario where 18 plus content is allowed. Fuck, Crimson and I had this exact same conversation at the con because we were there. In fact, I'm sure that I saw those pillows, and maybe I wanted to buy one myself if I could afford it. My personal problem is when there were underage characters that had body pillows, but that's not even close to even being mentioned here, so that's the discussion for another day. We'll talk about underage porn another day. A different video entirely. We have to focus on Louis' video right now. Also, the actual MLP show does have body pillows. Look at Stranger Than Fanfiction. As far as I'm concerned, these are allowed. Go fuck yourself, Louis. You also still constitute that every brony is a pedophile. Does that make me a pedophile? What about YojaX10? Or Crimson Mayhem? Or Chicory Jesus? I met those guys all at BronyCon and had the greatest fucking time of my life there with them. Especially with the part of me throwing my plushies at Adam.
Adam! Oh, Adam! I remember what you said you went for BronyCon. Oh yeah! BTW! Oh, and BTW! Here you go! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Okay.
Translation. There is always going to be pedophiles in the world, sadly. Just look at the vast internet. YouTube is being sued as I am making this video because of pedophiles taking advantage of children, either filming them or saying how sexy they look in the comments. Kappa even sued YouTube for this shit. Tumblr had their site ThanosSnap because too many pedophiles use the site for child pornography and now no one uses it. Oh hi there, Louis Orchard, fancy seeing you here! Why the fuck are you still using that right-wing website as a dead zone now when you complain that you are left-wing? Twitter had all those Tumblr pedophiles flock to their website with a new nickname called Maps. No, not the thing that you use for directions. It's a code name called Minor Attracted Person. They also use pears for some reason. Well, at least I know why the Doctor from Doctor Who hates pears now, and considering that he's a time traveler, he knew this was coming. Discord had a mix of pedophiles and zoophiles. Hello there, Zach. They wanted to create this thing, a name that I am going to coin called Cubbies, a term that I invented implying a freak that wants to see underage animals naked. Not even anthro, I think. Just actual underage naked animals.
Maybe there should be tighter rules on websites as to what constitutes child pornography so that they actually disallow child fucking pornography.
And pin number 10. I have just as many pins as Mr. Turner.
One of your friends is trying to fuck children? Let's not deal with that. Let's instead sue the woman who told us to deal with it. Or threaten to and then never follow through, coward.
Just watch part 2 of this video to know why Louis fucked up there. I swear, Cunty Orchard. You're going in circles. Cunty Orchard. I love using that name. She calls Starlight Glimmer a cunt, so I'll call you a cunt. Makes sense to me. Are you willing to lose thousands of Canadian dollars, cunty?
And gentlemen, if you think I'm wrong about that, sue me.
Funny, me following your advice, Louis, got me sued. Also, you should realize that other fans are like this. Like, you know the scene how you brought up how that one guy says Princess Molestia?
Alright, so I'm pretty sure you're aware of Princess Celestia being portrayed as a tyrant, an internet troll, and God forbid, a molester.
The bronies aren't the only fans to do that shit. Look at this one guy who talked to Tobey Maguire on Spider-Man 3.
And your Spider-Man sucked. Especially Spider-Man 3.
Well, that was just plain rude. But isn't it kind of hypocritical of you, Louis, saying that all bronies are pedophiles when you are a brony yourself? What does that say about yourself?
I highly doubt that Lily is a brony anymore.
Really? How so, Chicory Cheez-It?
Have you seen her videos lately on Friendship is Magic? One's not about the pedophiles that are vaguely there. Oh, I'm not one cunty, so fuck you.
Which video, Jordan?
A lot of them. Cover them in section 4, like, right now.
Sure thing.
Part 4, My Little Pony.
Edited by The Ouija Slayer.
It's no secret that Louis hates bronies. Parts 2 and 3 of this video hammer that notion in. I'm trying to figure out the best way of talking about Friendship is Magic with cunty because in a few months, I plan on reviewing each and every episode of the show from worst to best, so I don't want to have to go through each and every one of Louis' pony videos for this section. I can nip some things in the bud from the get-go, though. I agree with Louis on how to Princess's Dream of Magic Sheep is a terrible representation of actual suicide, but I disagree with her on her stances of fame and misfortune and how it's nothing but attacking us bronies. It ain't. Also, Slice Life and Stranger Than Fanfiction are part of the same boat. The brony episodes if you prefer. I also already did like a 40-minute review of my favorite Season 7 episode, Fame and Misfortune, so I don't want to talk about that here. What was Jerry/Louie's rule again?
Rule of 3, Josh. Rule of 3.
Pretty much. For this section, I'm only gonna go in depth with 3 episodes of Friendship is Magic that Louie talked about. Stranger Than Fanfiction, Flurry of Emotions, and Perfect Pair. I'm gonna go in short order, obviously, so let's start with Stranger Than Fanfiction. This opening from Louie, i.e. the Glass of Water video, Base Breaker, opens up like this.
Recently, YouTube reiterated their community guidelines to everyone, and the censorship-crying drama queens of the internet have already begun working themselves up into a frothy mob at the prospect that YouTube is going to make them all talk about sunshine and clouds. Now, everyone who actually read these guidelines and understood them is probably having a right fun laugh at these dipshits working themselves up into a lather over literally nothing. Fact is, unless you're one of the racism-spewing tools on the H-bomb censorship add-on, you don't have much to worry about. Okay? Okay, good, okay.
Yeah, I get it, Lily. In late summer 2016, YouTube was telling us to break the law in order for us to get paid. If you don't break the law and appeal to children 12 and under, and at a risk of 42 grand or 5 years in federal prison, we won't give you 1 cent. What? That's not what demonetization is about? What the fuck is it about then? Hello, dipshit parents, stop letting your children on the internet. It's kinda like not having them at a strip club. Ugh. After that side tangent, let's get to the real tangent.
Now let's talk about how your opinions suck.
You see, you may think that Louie only thinks that for this video, but the problem is this is how Louie acts like for all of her videos. Dr. W, aka Wesley, wanted me to talk about this more, and I guess now is a good time as any for Louie's political points. Let me boil them down in a nutshell for you. If you do not agree with Louie Orchard, you are a pedophile Nazi.
Stranger Than Fanfiction is a fucking terrible episode. Its pacing is terrible, its characters are awful, and its theme is a bloody mess.
Yeah, because having a different opinion is a bloody mess and makes me a fascist and a pedophile. Am I right, Louie? No, I'm not a pedophile or a fascist, but I do have a different opinion than you. That's the problem with Louie, and I honestly think this was the first video of Louie's that I disliked other than her video on Josh Scorcher. There was something off-putting about this one. Believe it or not, I rarely dislike a video. I mean, I'll do it for the obvious ones like the teenager murdering his pet cat or the YouTube rewind have nothing to do with YouTubers or even YouTube at all, but I did for this one because of Louie's tone. It's probably the first video of hers I noticed that something was up with her. I mean, look how she treats both Quibble and Rainbow.
The whole thing comes down to one problem. Too much of the episode is spent listening to Rainbow and Quibble Pants bickering about nothing.
Maybe in the grand scheme of things, yes, but it's one of those in-the-moment situations. I see it as one of those moments like talking about / debating on an episode or a character in fiction, and not just for My Opinion. I mean, that is more obvious, but it can be done in any show.
Using god-awful buzzwords like sellout and dumb down and throwback to the medium.
These sound more like words that you use, Louie.
Listening to these two bicker for about 70% of the episode is nothing short of exhausting.
She says that even though in episode, the pony behind the food counter smiles after Quibble and Rainbow stop arguing, meaning that she's actually enjoying two ponies argue about dare and do. I think I saw something like this at BronyCon when I wait in line. At each one of them. It's common for stuff like that to happen at conventions, and yet I really enjoy it. It's interesting hearing feedback from others on certain episodes and situations, or characters.
And Rainbow and Quibble arguing is the episode's version of a musical number. It pads out the time because there wasn't enough story.
You know, that's never really a problem for me if the music is good, and also, the bickering / argument I actually do enjoy. That might be because the voice actor for Quibble Pants is Patton Oswalt, known best for Remy and Ratatouille, and honestly, if Quibble Pants was done by anyone else, I don't think this episode would have been as good.
Then we get to the end where Quibble finally elaborates on what the hell he's talking about, and it genuinely made me angry. Quibble explains that he preferred the older Daring Do books that focused on puzzle solving, while the later books focused more on action set pieces. And the reason I was angry was because if they opened with that, this could have been a really interesting episode. What Quibble talks about at the end of the episode is a massive shift in tone and genre of a book series. Things that will rightfully break the base. Being unrealistic is a bullshit whining complaint from a perpetual sourpuss, but an actual shift in tone to a completely different genre is a valid complaint to have.
Opened with? The reason Quibble states this at the end of the episode is because he had to learn that message. If he started with that statement, there would be nothing to learn. I'm sorry, I thought this show was called Friendship is Magic, not we're gonna spoon feed you everything you need to know in the first minute. You know, Friendship is Magic, the show that is about the characters learning about friendship and other hard struggles in life.
I know a lot of bronies love this episode because, hey, it's talking about the fandom. It's referencing conventions.
Yeah, and you know what else this references? My fucking friendship with Yola Jax 10. We both love the shit out of this episode. Coincidentally enough, for different reasons. We just rewatched this episode right before your glass of water on this matter. and we're in agreement that I'm more of a Rainbow Dash and he's more of a Quibblepant. I'm more of a Bond guy that loves redeemed villains, while Jack here is a past guy who loves villains that are more of a sake of being evil and having fun with it. I also stated that I'm more into the Bond era of Friendship is Magic. Heck, I even called Season 5 and onward the post-Starlight Glimmer era, because Seasons 1 through 4 are what I call the pre-Starlight Glimmer era, because I noticed that the show has a different tone of structure. Jack isn't a fan of the post-Starlight Glimmer era, but I am. I'm having a hard time honestly enjoying the pre-Starlight era, and half the time I question to myself why the pre-era was my favorite show of all time at one time, because it does not hold up with me. But my point is, despite our differences, we both enjoy the show. We both even go to conventions together. I took Jack to the last 3 BronyCons and we each had a grand time.
LOL body pillows.
Heh. That's not how you act when it came to your Toon Kritic video or your video on Pedo Bear.
This could have been one of the best episodes of the season if this one scene was put at the front instead of dragging behind so dangerously close to the credits.
Again, that's how Friendship is Magic is. It teaches its lessons at the end and has a fun adventure, most of the time, to get to the moral. If the moral was always at the fucking beginning, the show would be preachy and not as memorable. Kinda like the show Hammerman. Ugh, that was a mouthful. Now, let's talk about why Louie thinks that fucking baby is your favorite character ever.
Oh, you mean like Stewie?
No, I fucking wish it was. This is Flurry Heart, the most useless character in animation history. I am not even exaggerating. I can name dozens if not hundreds of characters I hate more than Flurry Heart, but none of them are this useless, because they at least do something that pisses me off. Flurry Heart is basically a concept that was stolen from Fairy Operant. I mean, 2 shows that have a season 6 opener with a new baby. Like, you can't tell me with a straight face that it's not a ripoff. Also, you're ripping off an episode with a male pregnancy, which that was a ripoff of an adult party cartoon episode, made by a guy who's being accused of being a pedophile right now. Just because I hate several more characters than Flurry doesn't mean I hate Flurry in itself. First of all, she's born an alicorn, so fuck you, Twyla, for going through seasons of madness to earn those, and fuck you, Celestia, not even bothering how the fuck this works. Flurry Heart, in essence, adds nothing new. Actually, that's incorrect, it just adds plot holes. Sure, I can let it slide that she is powerful more than Pumpkin or Pound Cake because she's an alicorn baby, while those 2 are supposed to be normal babies. Also, what kind of parent names their baby after a disaster? This would be like if I lived in Louisiana in 2005 and had a baby and named her Katrina. But, let's be fair, maybe Lily has a good counterpoint on why Flurry Heart is a good character.
She literally just a babu. She didn't do anything, or at least she didn't do anything that was directly her fault. You're wrong about Flurry Heart, and this is why.
And we're going with that format again, I see.
I don't get bronies. I really don't. They'll see a character who commits terrible atrocities and never improves and go, wow, such a good and relatable character.
Not gonna comment.
But then a literal babu shows up and all she wants to do is make you smile at how cute she is, and suddenly it's like, oh, is this all you can offer? Ugh, no nuance at all.
You know, I don't find Flurry Heart cute, right? I hate her design. First of all, the eyes. This is a major problem. It's shown in the shows that eyes look like this. Even Parabar and Bright Mac had these eyes for a bit, which we'll get to in a few minutes. Flurry's hairstyle looks like a 20-year-old's hairstyle. It looks like they're trying to pamper her too much, and I think you shouldn't do that with kids. Same as twerking, or zooming in on their butts for their cutie marks.
Whatever, I'm not here to psychoanalyze bronies, I'm here to tell you why they're wrong and should be punched.
Excuse me, but what was that question that Josh asked?
Jerry, do you try to get people to hate you?
My answer after seeing the evidence?
Yes, precisely.
Flurry Heart isn't even a major character, she's a plot device.
You do know that people hate characters that are nothing more than plot devices, right? That's not a character. That's a robot. Even more so than XJ9, i.e. Jenny.
My Little Pony is not realistic!
That's not how you treat either The Princess's Dream of Magic Sheep or Raku from the Heart Place. By saying that these aren't realistic, Louie, you make me take these episodes and/or your reviews with a grain of salt, as in, I shouldn't really care about what you say because it is not important.
Flurry is more intelligent than any other baby, specifically because there's an audience that needs to be entertained, and having only one active character in an episode simply doesn't work. So Flurry is an infant with the expressiveness and activity of a toddler and the mental awareness of a 5-year-old.
You still have failed to explain why I should love or even care about Flurry Heart, Louie, especially since A Flurry of Emotions is our only real episode. Want to know why I like Poof a little more, and even Anti-Poof more? Because not only do they give them more episodes, but because they have a personality. Looking cute is not a personality.
Before you butt me about how your parents did that to you, your parents abused you. Go get therapy and work through it.
Bunny, why is one of your top 10 favorite Family Guy episodes Seahorse She-Show Party? You know, the episode saying that therapy was a bad thing and the moral was that you should stay in an abusive relationship for the abuser's benefit?
And there are actual grown adult characters who should be given real tangible punishments for their despicable actions, and so many of those same people look the other way and make excuses about it.
You know that Starlight was punished correctly, right? But whatever, I'm not gonna change your thick skull. But I will say you failed to convince me that Flurry is more than a babu. You, yourself, says she was a plot device, and that is all I'm gonna consider her now. Let me guess, your favorite Loud House character is Lily Loud because she's a baby. Funny that that baby has your name, and has more of a personality than you, Louis Orchard, and is less of a baby than you. I'm surprised there's no Louis holding Louis image out there, but because I want to be more adult, for the last episode of this segment, let's take a look at the perfect pair. Also love it even more that Hasbro claimed it and you're not making a single cent off it. Ha!
The story be better if it was gay.
You know that I was raped by a gay guy, right? Does it make it better that it was a man that raped me instead of a woman? Huh? Is it? No, fuck you, cunt.
The story be better if it was gay.
Oh, I see, that's a yes.
When I tried doing this with Magdalene and Honeycrisp, everyone got on my case for 4 days straight about how unrealistic it is for children to have puppy love crushes.
What pin is this gonna be? 11? Okay, pin 11 it is.
These heteros making me upsetteros.
Look, I got a whole fucking section dedicated to that in a later section. Oh god, pin number 12. A dozen pins now.
It's strange how these two had their entire life story told, and yet they were still less interesting, less engaging, and less developed than the resident power couple who only appear once a season.
Did you see what Louie did there? She used a dirty trick for her criticisms. She hates Para Brother and Bright Mac for being less developed than Cadence and Shiny Armor. Those two have way more episodes. Of course they'd be more developed. Para and Bright only have one. Let's play Louie's game though. Let's look at Shiny Armor and Cadence's first episode, Candlelight Wedding. How did Shiny act? He was a complete prick horse. We'll talk about him more in the future, but for now, he basically threw his sister under the bus. Not like that, but more on the lines of he used Twilight to get married because the only reason Cadence married him because she would get Twilight as a sister-in-law, and nothing else. Now does Shiny Armor treat this by kicking his own sister out of his own wedding, and never apologized once for it.
You know who would have been perfect to tell Bright Mac and Pear Butter's story? Bright Mac and Pear Butter. There is absolutely no reason as to why Bright Mac and Pear Butter couldn't have told their own story to their children. The writers didn't have to make it so that they were already dead. Oh, but Lily, that introduces so many continuity errors and questions about where the Apple parents have been. That's what I imagine the headcanon people sound like. That's how I headcanon the headcanon nerds who obsess about their headcanons. Well, first of all, fuck continuity. Just ignore the questions because who cares and move on with your day. Yeah, I know Lauren Faust said that she wanted their parents to be dead, but she quit after season 2. Who cares what she thinks? But you know what? Fine, I'll bite. How do we answer where they've been? They were in Manhattan selling Apple family products at market. Yeah, I know that's probably not very exciting, but they're farmers. What were you expecting? They were daring do-esque adventurers the whole time? Actually, that probably was what some people were expecting.
Give me a minute.
So, in essence, I think it's a combination of the two. Kathy Westlock, the voice of Spike, says she views Twilight and Spike as the relationship between an older and younger sibling with one or more parental members absent. In these situations, the older sibling has to step up and be a parent to the younger.
That's funny, Louie. I thought you were accepting of dead parents. Remember, it was you that put up Leela and Nani in that video. You were the one editing it. And what's that about their parents? Oh, what? They're dead? Yeah, that's what I thought. Having dead parents is essential to certain stories, Louie. Imagine if Bambi or The Lion King, if Bambi's mom and Mufasa came back to life. That'd be stupid. Also, I'm pretty sure there are children watching this that don't have parents. How would you feel if everything good had to happen if they had parents? Like, you need to have parents to be a good person. That'd be a terrible message.
That wasn't a concern when writing Scootaloo's parents in it. It wasn't a problem then, and Scootaloo was often headcanoned to be a fucking homeless orphan. I mean, doesn't the Apple parents are dead headcanon really just sound like needless grimdark being shoved into something?
For many stories to work, you need the parents to be dead or absent. The movie Meet the Robinsons would not have worked if Lewis had his mother from the start. That'd be stupid.
People compare the perfect pair to Romeo and Juliet, except Pear Butter and Bright Mac don't die at the Except Pear Butter and Bright Mac don't die violently at the end.
You're wrong, Willie. This is more like Lion King 2.
It's like being gay in a progressive cartoon. If you come out with it, there's a 90% chance you'll end up dead.
Oh, okay. Pin number fucking 13.
Why is disappointing them such a massive roadblock?
Because they want their families to still like them? Because they're family? Ever think about that, Louie? Maybe you can't just say fuck family if you want to, if they're still good to you.
And the episode is praised by hyper-conservative crazy people who also cannot fathom that someone would disregard a petty tyrant exerting needless control over their children.
I fail to see what this has to do with politics. Oh wait, now I do!
All media is political.
That is such an awful statement.
Considering how many cartoons are aggressively telling children that family is everything and you shouldn't cut ties with family if they're cruel to you.
Yeah, because it's not like one of your favorite Family Guy episodes say that being in an abusive relationship is a good thing for the abuser's benefit. Wait.
If Pear Butter had married the character she had a lot more chemistry with, the shallowness and skeletal nature of their relationship would have been pointed out by everybody, even though it would now no longer be shallow and skeletal because the two characters have more in common. That montage of Pear Butter helping Mrs. Cake with her recipes and helping her build her business, that's the kind of thing she needed with Bright Mac. The kind of personal connection and closeness that two people who are supposedly having been dating since childhood should have. It might seem small, but it's such a crucial element to have, even just that small, tiny scene of them bonding over something. Ultimately, Pear Butter has a more deep and nuanced relationship with someone in a tiny montage than she does with the person she's being shipped with the entire episode that spans their whole lives.
Oh, and side note, if Pear was gay, which is what you want, then Applejack could not have been born, become the element of honesty, and fucking stop Nightmare Moon, who you could see in this episode, by the way, on the moon.
That's not a love story. That's the last 3 years I spent with my abusive fiance. I literally had this kind of relationship with someone, and it was horrible.
You know, now is probably not the best time to bring up your personal shit. Alright, that's enough about My Little Pony. I highly doubt there's anything else for My Little Pony.
But what about my sweet Glim Glam? I of course mean Starlight Glimmer, aka Best Pony.
Wait, what?
But wait, there's more!
I fail to see...
Did you want to talk about Starlight? Did you want to talk about Starlight? Did you want to talk about Starlight? Did you want to talk about Starlight?
Okay, fine, fuck all of you. Let's talk about what Louis says about Starlight Glimmer and Asuko Kaguri, because they're my personal favorite characters in animation.
I love my job.
Part 5. Starlight Glimmer and Asuko Kaguri.
Edited by the Ouija Slayer.
Starlight Glimmer is best pony and Asuko Kaguri is best human. Fight me. Also, 5 is my favorite number, so I figured it was best to talk about them here. These two characters are my favorite, and they will probably still be my favorites until the day I die. I had a crush on Starlight, and OC is half Akko. It's a fucking fusion of Akko and Diana, think Steven Universe style. And I say crush on Akko, but I think she's like 16, though I used to think she was 19, what with Luna Nova acting like a college and not an actual high school. Better accurate representation of the school than DC Superhero Girls 2019, so I will give him credit on that perspective. Let's knock Starlight Glimmer first in this section and get to Akko later. Now, obviously if you hate Starlight, then that's perfectly fine. I already stated that I like Shadow Streak and even had a nice time meeting him at BronyCon a few months ago, but even though he hates Starlight, I still enjoy his content. Or maybe because he got to play my Mario Maker levels. Point is, you can make good content and I can still disagree with you. There's a trope for this name. Agree to disagree. Lily, being the puritanical cunt that she is, follows the message of, if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. I already did go through the nuts and bolts for the most part in my first video, and for the most part, my points still stand. You see, Lily had this tendency to hate any person the most if they love Starlight Glimmer. For what reason? I don't know. Even the biggest Starlight haters in the world don't do this. But what bugs me the most is that before she just distances herself from you if you love Starlight Glimmer, now she calls people pedophiles that love Starlight Glimmer.
Oh look, it's the Starlight Glimmers of real life.
Yes, because when I think of Starlight Glimmer, I think of pedophiles. You're really gonna compare Starlight to Toon Kritic, huh? Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised since the only reason that you went after Draco is because he loves Starlight. Look at this video here called Creepy Starlight Fan Scams Artist Threatens People and Preys on Minors. The most notable key here is the Creepy Starlight Fan. Notice how that is the most eye-catching. And like all serious songs, Cunty Orchard once again uses Susie's theme song. Again, that is a joke song. And it's hard for me to take Cunty's video seriously when that song is being played.
I thought I'd seen the depths of creepiness the bronies can sing to. You'd think after predators, lawsuit bluffs, and changelings with a staph infection right on their eyeball that things couldn't get any worse. But oh god, it got worse. It got so worse.
I don't know what's funnier in my eyes. The fact that you're using a silly song on something as serious as pedophilia, the fact that you're saying that this pedophile here is worse than Toon Kritic, or the fact that you pin his comment saying that he's not a pedophile.
Draco really likes Starlight. Creepily so. I mean, I know all Starlight fans are creepy, it kinda comes with the territory.
Said the woman whose waifu on this show is literally a fucking infant.
You can't find her relatable or engaging without revealing that you're a suspicious individual.
So, why don't you like her again, Louis?
Oh, I'm only kidding. Mostly.
Sure.
Anyway, Draco is patient zero. He's chosen Starlight as his fictional wife and insists that because of the multiverse theory that there's a universe where he's actually dating Starlight.
And I'm sure there's one with you dating Gardevoir.
He's constantly posting other people's work involving Starlight with messages about how Starlight is totally getting ready for a date with him and other really gross comments.
You sure this isn't just Brandon in disguise? Hey Draco, are you just a changeling imitating Brandon?
What is this? What in the name of crucifying fuck Christ is this? This is without a doubt the creepiest somebody has ever been about the fictional character they decided was their girlfriend. And honestly, I thought the trifecta of monster fuckers were the worst. This is a whole new level of strange.
One of these things is not like the other.
Actual real art theft going on, and... Wait, is that Vor? Did you edit a Vor drawing to make it look like she was giving birth to your children? And somehow do it badly? Like, what the fuck?
Be real, would Kunta even give a fuck about this situation if it had nothing to do with Starlight Glimmer?
Not really.
And you see the problem there, Brandon. Louis is only making this video to forget making bronies look bad. That was part 3 of this Louis Orchard rant. She only has made this video to go after Starlight fans. She claims that Draco is worse than Zack, and that all Starlight fans are like Draco. Are there victims of Draco? By the way, before I forget, Louis, you do know that Josh went to the FBI, contacted more victims in a Skype chat, and got the Chicago Attorney General to be on the lookout for Toon, right? Funny how none of your videos ever mentioned that. You just want to keep sulking on Josh.
Does anyone else besides me get the sinking feeling that Flurry Heart could get away with murder? Because there's this weird thing going on in the show with babies and intelligence. No one should yell at a real-life baby for many reasons, one of them being their lack of cognition. But Flurry is clearly smart enough to understand things like right and wrong, and understand speech no less. So when it comes to potentially disciplining someone like her, it's a weird gray area.
You know that the show never stated that Starlight broke any laws, right? The only main character of the show that did break a law and never got punished for it was Rainbow Dash and Thanks for the Memories.
Part 2. Creeping on Honeycrisp. Wait, what?
You know that you're technically exposing children, Louis, when you use a child for a thumbnail of yours, right? I don't care if Honey's Crisp is fake. It bothers me to no end.
He started hitting on someone after she told him that her age was 15, even younger than the last minor he was creepy toward. He even started telling her how important it was that she know what NSFW is, and that not knowing could be detrimental.
It's a good time as any that I couldn't find any of Louis' friends that were pedophiles. Someone tried to suggest to me that this one person that Louis was with that loved Sunset Shimmer was one, but I couldn't find enough evidence on the issue. Why do I, myself, love Starlight Glimmer, you may ask? She's beautiful, kind, sweet, caring, compassionate, smart, loving, brave, courageous, sassy, and she's become a great leader. She's grown so much across the 5 seasons that she's been in. Oh, also Starlight did earn her redemption, you dipshit. We'll talk about why I love Starlight Glimmer so much and how she's just the best character in all of animation another day. But if you want to see Louis at her angriest with Starlight Glimmer, it probably comes from her glass of water, Light's Wrath. Now, because of YouTube standards and... fuck YouTube standards, actually. If you don't want to hear a bitch have a petty party, I'm gonna give you the option to skip that now. This will happen in this sequel garbage review twice, by the way. This is the angriest that Louis gets throughout the entirety of all of Starlight. And it's the second angriest I have ever seen her get. Go to this part in the video if you don't want to hear Louis rant. Alright, let's see the angriest that Louis gets with Starlight Glimmer.
I think DHX has seen fan art of evil Celestia with mane on fire and thought this would be an easy way to generate a lot of positive reception. And the reason I think that is because it worked. A Royal Problem is an overwhelmingly beloved episode that's praised for offering insight into the princesses and their relationship despite not actually doing either of those things. It repeated what we already know, that the Royal Sisters have been doing fuck all to improve their relationship over the last 7 years, and that their jobs are very, very hard, and now both of them are afraid of turning into magical Nazis instead of just one of them. Although considering that this is Starlight's dream and not Celestia's, maybe shamelessly ripping crappy fan designs was actually wait a minute! This is Starlight's dream! So this isn't even a reflection on Celestia, it's more of a reflection on Starlight's paranoia of failing! Holy fucking shit! This really does grind the story to a fucking halt. We're not even getting hinted at anything regarding the princesses, we're just dwelling on DHX's new favorite OC. Instead of solving the friendship problem, we're looking at how much the person doing the solving is afraid of failure. I know I said this earlier in the episode, but you had one fucking job! I'm hanging on Daybreaker because the moment she shows up is the moment the story ends. While Luna actually got to experience Celestia's job as the Day Princess, Celestia jumps into one dream and then we immediately switch to Nightmare Moon and Daybreaker fighting while the other three sit back and watch. The only new information is that apparently Celestia hasn't been doing Luna's job while she was in exile. Oh, and Celestia makes pancakes with faces on them. Well done. I'm sure this will be a lovely new meme to go alongside cake and bananas. This is what I was talking about in 70 x 7. This is an episode filled with material that offers no genuine insight into either Celestia or Luna, and it's convinced me that Celestia and Luna don't need characterization. The fandom craves information about the princesses, but is that really what we need?
I say yes. That is what we need. More backstories about Princess Celestia and Luna. Talk about when they were fillies and such. Let me see their parents. See how they got their cutie marks. Something about them in the past. Like what happened 1,000 years ago. How about Celestia's time like 500 years ago and such. Also, considering that Frozen said that queens could be nice, can't we just call them Queen Celestia and Queen Luna? If Queen Novo could be a nice queen, why can't Celestia and Luna? Also, I love both story and backstory, and I love lore. And I'm probably the type of person that Louis wants to take a picture of my face and put on a punching bag, right?
This is what most of the fandom wants. Lore and backstory that does little more than create a sandbox for fanworks.
Bronies are the only fandom that I know that have made background characters more interesting than main characters, and I find that 100% a good thing and groundbreaking. Again, this isn't so much a Louis problem rather than just a brony problem in general, so that's a story for another day. Before I jump off the Starlight ship to the Akko ship, I want to talk about Toon Kritic one last time. Remember this?
Oh look, it's the Starlight Glimmers of real life.
I find being called a Starlight Glimmer of real life a compliment, i.e. Toon shouldn't be on the fucking list. If anything, wouldn't Glenn Quagmire be a better association character for Toon? Ignoring that Glenn has done a certain hypocritical speech to Brian Griffin, we'll get to that speech of that asshole another day. I got to deal with this Louis asshole first. But to nip Quagmire in the bud, he's done several episodes where he has ogled underage girls. One episode he was at a slumber party at Meg's with girls in between the ages of 14 and 17. And he only stopped because the girls were boring the crap out of him. The same guy that also waited till Meg was the legal age of 18 to start hitting on her, sexting her, and had plans to take Meg to his sex cabin. One episode had Quagmire having sex with a 14-year-old high school student, and he gets sentenced to 20 years in a federal prison for statutory rape and child pornography. But the only reason that he doesn't go to prison is because his mom had sex with a judge. You want to talk about not being punished enough, Louis? Why the fuck is Family Guy getting off scot-free? This is literally something similar that Toon Kritic had done, except Family Guy did it 3 years earlier. Instead, you're hating a fake fascist instead of Quagmire who grooms minors. And no, being an adult cartoon is not an excuse. And there's a lot more characters that fit the bill for the reasons that Louis hates Starlight. You want to see a Mary Sue that I hate more than Starlight Glimmer? Even though I love Starlight Glimmer and I don't think she's a Mary Sue at the same time. Chloe Carmichael. Try her from the Fairy Odd Parents. Way to go wasting your talent, Carrie Walgreen. What was wrong with Kagami from Lucky Star? It's very annoying besides Chloe always quote-unquote winning when she spews feminist bullshit like this.
Sir Timmy's dad's a lot? I'm not completely comfortable being a damsel in distress. I am, after all, a strong, empowered woman of the new millennium.
I swear, she gives the 2016 Powerpuff Girls a run for their money on being the worst female child in the kids' cartoon of all time. So yeah, blame Chloe and Quagmire for why I don't hate Starlight. And you could probably add Green Lantern from DC Superhero Girls 2019 for why as well. It's amazing how much Louis will hate you just because you love Starlight Glimmer. Let's nosedive into Akko right now. I love Asuko Kaguri. What's not to love about Akko? She's cute, she has a determined heart, she ain't perfect, and screws up in funny ways. A great voice, both the English and the Japanese.
Hey, you dropped this! So you're a new student too? Are you headed to opening ceremonies? All right!
But of course, because Cunty Orchard hates everything that is good, she made a glass of water on Little Witch Academia, and just see it for yourself.
So as I said early on, I was already aware of the fact that Little Witch Academia goes completely off the rails in the second half and accepted that when I went in.
Did you know that Louis hates pretty much everything that I love in animation 2015 and onward to this year 2019? No? Well, I hope you do because that is like 50% of why I hate her. Different opinions. Well, Graceland, it's her being a fucktard cunt that gives out misinformation and commits slander. Hello, Toon Kritic again. I used to believe in what Louis said over Josh on the Toon matter. Boy, was I stupid. Like Derpy Who stupid and clumsy. Like Akko clumsy. But the difference is that I love both Derpy and Akko.
The cast changes from one boring fuckhead and her 2 funny friends to one boring fuckhead and 3 other boring fuckheads.
Akko and Diana are literally the best characters. Akko is a clueless funny girl that I probably would love to date. She's like a mix of Pinkie Pie, Twilight Sparkle, and Starlight Glimmer. Oh wait, the Starlight part is probably why Cunty hates her.
The most entertaining characters in the show are actually Lotte and Susie, and they get completely shafted in favor of the 2 teachers who can't get a sentence out without delays and Sunset Shimmer's Alolan form.
You literally have stated multiple times that Sunset Shimmer was your favorite human. Shouldn't it imply that you should love Diana as well? Not just Rule 63 Rick Sanchez, i.e. Susie. I also know that you only love Lotte as well. Why you call Diana Diet Sunset? Also, just because she looks like Sunset doesn't mean she's automatically like Sunset. I'll give a better review of Little Witch Academia in the future. Just note in the meantime that it's my all-time favorite anime. Thank you, Crimson Mayhem, for getting me into this one. I still oddly remember when you put it in the top 10 worst animation cliches list. Yeah, I reviewed Little Witch Academia twice. Well, once because the other time was an April Fool's Day prank. But the point is, I'll give a much better review of this show in the way distant future.
Honestly, who decided that less Susie was a good idea? And please tell me they got fired over it.
You're literally the equivalent of yelling at an asshole on the highway wanting them to go to hell.
High stakes action and flashy battles is what Trigger does best.
Well, yeah, it is. Just look at Kill la Kill and Little Witch Academia. Granted, these are literally the only 2 anime that I have seen from Studio Trigger, but they're my favorite fucking animation company because I love their designs and they seem to be respectable people. Fuck, Aaron Hansen of Game Grumps did an interview with the creator of Little Witch Academia once. I even supported Little Witch Academia on Patreon at one point in time last year. I don't even want to go into the nuances like how Lou hates both Earthbound and Little Witch Academia music.
Isn't this the ending of Earthbound? Is it over? I think I fell asleep.
You can see with this chart right here on Louie's top 5 characters, both her favorite and her least favorites. Oh, that explains too much. You put a plot device as your favorite character. That you yourself said that she was a fucking plot device, not me.
Flurry Heart isn't even a major character. She's a plot device.
I'm more surprised that Waifu Giantess Glimmer wasn't your least favorite. Also, Peridot and Starlight are like the same fucking character. They should be equal. Also, you hate both Starlight and Akko. That's the fastest way for me to hate a person. Then again, Louie's Changing at the Edge of the World in 4 minutes had this part.
Tia Freely! Tia Freely! Tia Freely!
Big surprise it didn't work today either.
Eat shit, Akko.
Akko!
She flew.
Oh god, she talked. Everybody run, this is not a drill. Also, fuck you, Akko.
Instead of fuck you, Akko, how about fuck you, Louie? That one rolls better off the tongue. And yeah, I know I can go all into other than nuances of Starlight Glimmer, like her rock-solid friendship, a royal problem, fame and misfortune, to change a changeling, and shadow play reviews, but I'd rather not right now. There's also this part from Louie, which is the equivalent of that one drawn together movie scene of the characters in the carriage in the water when they listen to the directors for 2 straight minutes. And you're all gonna share the pain that I went through listening to Louie here.
Oh, thank God. It's finally over. Some of you might be wondering why I didn't drop this show once it got, like, really boring, considering I did that with Tangled and Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and the reason for that is that Little Witch Academia became boring for very different reasons. Whereas other shows all got, like, super grimdark, this show just doesn't have a plot, and it keeps pretending to have one to falsify a sense of drama and rush to more bad action scenes. And you know what? I'm actually surprised this studio has this consistent problem. Like, I burn-watched all their other shows while I was working on this, and I noticed the same thing in all of them. Trigger has some of the funniest people in the entire global animation industry, but for some reason, they keep aggressively chasing action scenes and they're really, really bad at them. I did the first episode on Patron Vote, and because the download came with all the episodes, I just decided on a whim to watch Sleeping Susie because that was the only character I liked, and that episode was so good that I was like, yeah, alright, you can be on in a minute. And there's a few episodes like that, like the one with the nonverbal engineer, but even that can't help dragging out the weirdly cliche robots. But outside of those few, the show is just so so dull. Like, maybe it's because I just don't care about the stock characters like Nice Teacher with side tie and Pokemon Reject pretending to save the world and Diet Sunset, but you have to like those characters to enjoy this show because the show pushes them so aggressively, and I hated them so much. I liked Ursula until she started spending entire episodes outright refusing to move the story forward. There's so little story to this that it would be a two-parter on any decently paced show. Like, if this were Cardcaptors, the whole thing would have been a montage cut made by Madison that everyone's watching while Lee sits in the back with his face as red as a beet. Actually, that sounds great. I'd watch that. As I was going through this nightmare, I was reminded why I hate anime in the first place and started getting ideas for all sorts of glass of water topics regarding this, which is why I actually persisted, so look forward to that.
Yep, Louis just did because this one anime was bad. That means all anime is bad. This would be like if I saw Pixel Pinky, a terrible Australian animation, and assumed that all Australian animation is terrible. Even though my all-time favorite animation is called Mary and Max, which is an Australian animation. So, do better research, Louis.
No it's not. They're terrible at action scenes. Almost all the action scenes in their shows are slow, floaty special effects blowouts that barely qualify as action scenes.
Well, someone hasn't seen Bunsen is a Beast.
Because like most Japanese animation studios, they have a budget of basically nothing, and as a result, their action scenes quickly fall into a few large-scale magic spells or a few really wide strikes. It's easier to animate and it'll age better. Drama and action generally don't mesh well with Japanese cartoons because the low-budget animation means that there's a big focus on jumping quickly from one key frame to the next, long hangs on a single shot, panning a shot over one frame.
You know that Lucky Star was able to do well, including bits of drama despite it being a comedy, and yet still look well animated, and it did well enough to make a sequel anime called Nichijou, which is like a Ren and Stimpy or SpongeBob of Eastern animation on wacky budget animation alone.
And lip syncing? What the fuck is that?
Hey, Louis, learn about Speed Racer, then come talk to me. Actually, don't ever talk to me. Like, ever.
But I'd argue that there's one genre that Trigger is not only especially good at, but that most Japanese cartoons have always been good at. Pornography! Comedy.
You see, the problem with Louis is that it's not that it's just Akko like this, or it's just Louis Academia is like this. She thinks that all anime is like this. Like, literally every fucking anime. How many have you seen, Louis? 2? This and Kill la Kill? Now, personally, I don't watch that much anime because I'm usually a busy woman. Anime is hard to find. Copyright for Japanese animation is shit, and a combination of other things. I have seen probably 8 or 9 anime total. Louis Academia, Kill la Kill, Attack on Titan, Lucky Star, Nichijou, One Punch Man, Full Metal Alchemist, the Kirby anime, and Pokemon. And that's off the top of my head. Point is, I don't believe that I have seen enough anime to fully judge an entire country of animation.
The only Japanese cartoon of the modern era I have even been remotely interested in is a slice of life cartoon about a precious babu being a precious babu and none of the industry's other bullshit.
I get it. Louis hates story, wants every fucking cartoon to basically be watered down garbage like the entirety of 1970s animation, i.e. the worst decade in animation history. Point is, Louis has not seen enough Japanese animation to fully judge it. Someone like Robin from Anime America, who you should all watch by the way, definitely knows a lot more about anime than Louis ever will. And I trust Robin more on anime than Louis.
A long-standing question people ask me is why I hate Japanese cartoons, and this is why. The things they're actually good at are the things they do very rarely, and if you don't want to watch another carbon copy of Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball, then you're not going to have a good time. And because I'm not a pathetic sack of human shit, the aggressive perv pandering in this medium only ever turned me off of it as I got older. I hear a lot of anime YouTubers talk about saving their favorite medium. Even diehard fans admit that they're holding on by a thread and are trying to find some way to revive it. A great place to start would be junking the perpetual money sinks that only appeal to a very tiny minority of hardcore fans. Maybe stop trying to convince pathetic sad sacks to hyper-consume expensive DVD packs with creepily misogynistic fetish fuel. Just buckle down, make a really good comedy series, release it in North America, and revel in the money you'd make from a funny cartoon and the fresh blood into your audience. That's basically what Crunchyroll is trying to do, suck in a new batch of viewers to generate more subscription money from people who previously avoided their service because it only supplied terrible perv pandering garbage that nobody actually wanted to watch. That was ultimately the problem with RWBY. It was so in love with its tropes and cliches that it never stopped to think about if those tropes and cliches were actually good, you know, aside from just generally looking like shit. And that's the response I usually get when I complain about this stuff, especially in response to the Korra video. People tell me, oh, that's a common thing in anime.
I know this is hard to grasp, but telling me that I'm right not just about a few shows, but about an entire medium is not the smart rebuttal you think it is.
I highly doubt that you're entirely right about a whole medium. Also, anime and animation are part of the same medium. It's called animation. Anime technically is just the Japanese word for anime, or also animation made in Japan. Then again, this is Lily, and this is how she treats everyone when it comes to debate. Not just for Starlight Glimmer, but for everything in general.
The point of today's video is that I'm a professional, and that I'm right about Starlight, and you're not because fuck you. Now give me money.
Also, Little Witch Academia is a fusion show. It's basically take Harry Potter and My Little Pony and fuse it into one. You get Little Witch Academia. Better than Shark Tale's combination of Finding Nemo and The Godfather, I dare say. The problem with Lily that I have seen so far throughout her videos is her failure to understand self-improvement. Yes.
Well, Rebecca, have you improved that much since your last rant on Lily a year ago today?
I have, and we're going to do a whole section on self-improvement right now. Part 6, Self-Improvement. I had a little bit of a hard time writing this section because this is the smallest of the sections because there really wasn't much that I could say on it. It's true that every single human being in existence needs to improve upon themselves, and if you don't think that, then you're a massive hypocrite that's also an idiot. There are things that Lily can do to improve upon herself, like have her stop invading Sketchy the Change Queen's videos when it comes to Starlight Glimmer.
And this is why I don't regret defending Starlight, because she can have good episodes. Honestly, all these people whining and complaining about her need to chill the hell out. Especially Lily Pete. I wish she would roll up in here and try and talk shit about Starlight. I wish that bitch would, cause she is gonna catch these hooves so quick. She's gonna wish she didn't step to me.
Oh, Sketchy, flattery will get you everywhere.
Oh, Kevin, why would you say such mean things about this nice lady?
Boy, don't even try.
I get the joke. Sketchy and Lily are actually friends. In either A, Sketchy loves both Starlight and Lily, which sounds like loving ketchup and peanut butter at the same time. You can put both on sandwiches, but not on the same sandwich at the same time. That's what it feels like to me. Or B, Sketchy was being sarcastic about loving Starlight. Because I don't know that much about Sketchy other than being friends with Lily. I'll just assume that is the case of this situation. But what about Lily though? Does she want to self-improve? Believe it or not, yes. I have heard that Lily has stated that she wants to be better. That in and of itself is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's nice for Lily to admit that she has made mistakes for herself and wants to be a better person. On the other hand, she may think the way of being better is to continue being a cunty orchard.
There's also the fact that Charlie doesn't use any language like anyone can change, but rather everyone deserves the chance to prove they can change. And that's a very good distinction to draw. It leaves the door open for nuance and actual character arcs, rather than the rushed cry and forgive plots of certain shows I've resolved to stop banging on about.
I'll take what I can get. Less time ranting on My Little Pony, Starlight, and bronies in general? Great. Less time showing your former boss crying in the bathtub for his magical mystery cure review? Great. Less time ranting on the Legend of Korra and Steven Universe? Great. It's not so much that I want Lily's opinions to change, but rather I want her to stop ranting on the same things. Or rather her continuing saying that her opinion is right and while others are, for better or for worse, wrong. That's at least the impression that I get watching her Has-Been Hotel impressions. By the way, go watch Has-Been Hotel. It's fucking awesome. It's on the lines of God, the Devil, and Bob when it comes to dealing with the religion. Better than Dorby, so I'll give Has-Been Hotel that. I myself need to learn plenty of things in real life, but let's stay focused on the realm of video making for now. I have gotten bad at editing. I mean, I use a Sony Vegas now, so that should make the quality of my videos better than Adobe Premiere Elements. I got a better microphone, it's better than my old stick mic, I use a Snowball now. And hey, at least I don't write pedophile fanfictions like Lily. What? You haven't heard? Well then, let's talk about that. Part 7, Stockholm. Rebecca Sugar once in her teenage years, you know, when she was a minor and didn't know what the fuck a pedophile truly was. The fanfic was about the Eds having gay sex. Then again, in the actual show we see older women all the time trying to fuck the Eds. Sexually. So that personification would be implanted on certain minors' minds. Not me because I didn't watch Ed and Eddie growing up. Point is, she wrote it, regrets it, has admitted that she did this as well as art, and apologized for this. My point being, I forgive Rebecca. Lily did something similar back in early 2014. Except Lily was an adult now. Sure, Rebecca is older, but Lily wrote her fic when she was an adult, while Rebecca wrote hers as a minor. And Lily's fanfic is about Rainbow Dash wanting to have sex with the CMC, who are canonically minors in her fanfiction. This isn't like the actual show where we don't know anyone's fucking ages. Yeah, all 9 years of the show and nothing on the ages aspect? Twilight could be 15, 30, 12, 90, 24, or the better number 25? No one knows. And it's true for all the characters. I used to think Spike was an adult originally. That's a problem. Then again, Pony Life makes him look like a girl, so whatever. As someone who has read the actual fanfiction, I have to talk about it. So basically, the first 6 chapters, basically nothing fucking happens. Then when chapter 6 come along, Louis goes into, dark lesbian shit, let's call it. So, for fun, let's actually read a little bit of this fanfiction. This better not be a habit, Josh said in mock irritation. Don't want my house being a haven for teenage lesbians to roll around naked, and actually on reflection I'd be okay with that. Fluttershy giggled, playing swallowly her rear with the drying towel she was using. You silly. I wouldn't try anything. I'm not a complete perv, Rainbow chuckled. I just enjoy the view, and maybe take pictures. No wait, that's illegal. Forget that. I just enjoy the view. I bet you had hoped for that opportunity when you were her age, wouldn't you? Are you kidding? Back in high school, the girls were showing up everything. I couldn't go 5 seconds without seeing tits or ass in my face. Rainbow grinned. Remember how I used to always snap at the girls who made fun of the guys who got boners in class? Yeah, that's because I knew how much of a problem it was, Rainbow said. Just I was 10 times as terrified of getting caught. But yeah, I'd love to have a chance to get back in high school. Drying a dish, Fluttershy placed it aside the pile. She looked to her friend, Lover, and gave a soft smile. She brought an arm around her waist from the side and nuzzled her, careful to make sure no one else was around to see it. Better late than never, then, she whispered sweetly. Yeah, and now I get to help Apple Blooms get some, Rainbow laughed. What's wrong with me? Why do I think that's hot? Irrational response you can't explain, just feel, that's all. Fluttershy nudged her ribs, slightly winking. Come on, Chai, they're 14, they're not supposed to be sexy, damn it. There I go again, Rainbow grumbled. Don't worry though, we all have fantasies, irrational response we're proud of, Fluttershy assured, rubbing her back. Maybe I should leave the house when they come over, Rainbow chuckled, clapping the Shy on the shoulder. That'll be up to you, but don't worry, Fluttershy gave her a hug. Until the moment you actually start breaking the law, which I know you would never do that regard, it's okay. So you're saying you have no problem with me ogling AJ's little sister? Rainbow asked. Fluttershy smiled. I said I don't want to share with you. I didn't say you couldn't look, just don't make her uncomfortable about it and it'll be fine. Look, I know we're not all proud of our past, Louis, but when you make a mistake, you gotta admit that you have made a mistake. But Lily has realized that she made a mistake in the past. She didn't realize what a pedophile was at the time. She said she was sorry that she wrote Stockholm, and she promised herself and to everyone that she would never do— No, it was a shit show, obviously! Lily Orchard has decided to make several videos shit-talking people that made pedophilic fanfictions. There are at least 3 videos on this subject matter. Let's look at some of our pins, because now is the time to talk about them. Pins 5 and 6.
The 2 largest sites for fan content, Fanfiction and Derpy Boru, are packed to the brim with child pornography that just barely skirts US federal law on a technicality.
You're mad at bronies who make pedophile fanfictions on Fanfiction, and yet, here you are doing the exact same thing half a decade ago. Now, before I go on, do I think that Lily Orchard is a pedophile? No. Do I think that she encourages people to do pedophile behavior? No. Do I think that she regrets writing this story? Yes. Did she try to distance herself from this story? Yes. I don't mind you going after pedophiles because they are terrible people, and these stories are not excuses, but it's hypocritical for you to go after bronies like this when you have done the same thing in the past. Just one speech, Lily. Just one sentiment of you saying you fucked up in the past and that you wish to put it behind you. That's all it would take for me to forgive you. There's also a person that was a report about on someone named Sarah Butts. I don't know if that's a code name or actual name, but whatever. Dare not to make a Simpson joke here. Unfortunately, it was a story that I couldn't find any information on. All I know is that she was supposed to be a pedophile that loved Sunset Shimmer, that Louis Orchard defended in a video like 3 years ago that has been deleted on Louis' channel since. In the realm of the internet, when you become a big person, you could be accused of, well, anything. I mean, Mr. Enter has been accused of being a pedophile as well. Speaking of Enter, let's do an entire section on not just Enter, but editing in general.
Edited by the Ouija Slayer.
We are now entering the political part of this video. For the rest of this video, with the exception of the conclusion, we will be talking about Louis' politics. During October, when I asked my Twitter followers if I should make a sequel rant to my original Louis rant, one person who is my friend by the name of Dr. W, aka Wesley, told me that I need to go into Louis' true sociopathic tendencies, and that was a major part of me needing to make a sequel Louis video. I do believe that I did talk about her terrible tendencies in the original review, but I do believe that I could go deeper. You can always go deeper when it comes to Louis Orchard. The problem is I don't know where to start. And yes, the final 4 sections, except conclusions, are going to be about this. And they are, by far, the hardest things I have ever written in my life. Picking where to start was a bit confusing, because most of the stuff, if not all the stuff that Louis says is not only hard to deconstruct, but is very important to apply in the real world. I decided to first go with the one I had the most experience in, jobs. Louie Orchard is, or rather was, or kinda still is, but only for her own channel, a transgender editor. Up until 2016, she was an editor for a famous YouTube brony that made animation review videos. Can you name another transgender brony editor that edits for a famous YouTube brony that made animation review videos? The answer, if you didn't know, is me. Louie edits for Josh Scorcher. I edit for Mr. Enter. While it's been a few months since my last review, i.e. the Palbot Girls See Me Feel Me Know Me, which was 3 months ago, I do technically still edit for the mysterious Mr. Enter. It's just that he's been busy for now with the Nicorama thing that he's editing by himself. Not even Crimson is doing it, just himself. Yes, I have stated that if it wasn't for Louie, I wouldn't be editing for John today, and I do personally thank Louie for that. But even that particular defense doesn't go very far, especially since Adam is a much better inspiration for me editing than Louie. When you work for somebody, there must be some kind of respect between you and the person you are working for. This example is you being a normal employee working for a boss, FYI, the easier one to deconstruct. And the simplest kind of respect is the logic of, I do shit for this guy gives me money so I can live for another day. That's the black and white of it all. That's what most bosses are like when you first meet them. Over time, you can develop a relationship, i.e. a friendship if you want, get to know them better, tell them your personal stories, just be friends in general, and make new friends through them. That's what I was able to do for Jonathan. I have made some friends when I became his editor. Of course, internet jobs do have double-edged swords, but that might be a topic for another day. In 2015, Louie did follow the simple, respectful ways that I do with John now. However, in 2016, she got more demanding scripts to be written a certain way. Not once in my life have I ever changed the script or even demanded a review of John's to be changed. I took it the way it was and edited it as such. You know, like the actual job in an editor. There are times I did improv, but we'll put another pin here. Pin number 14 I believe we are at. Why don't we first see what Louie says about her job as being an editor?
He once complained about the fact that I wouldn't let him compare Spike living with Twilight to self-hating black slaves in the South, despite the fact that this was literally my job that he was paying me to do.
So, you know that editing is your job, you know what to do, and yet you choose to ignore it. You know, since we're on the section where I talk about Mr. Enter, let's borrow a quote from him.
What I'm doing is wrong, I know it's wrong, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
You say a lot wrong with this particular statement here, Louie. This is the first of many terrible philosophies on life that you have spewed out. But you being pugnacious is not the problem here. Yet. This is the first of many of your sociopathic tendencies that Dr. W wanted me to talk about. Let's get the first one out of the way. This is so simple I'm sure that a little kid, despite the fact that you need to be 13 years or older to watch a YouTube video by law, could figure out. I'm gonna tell you a secret about jobs. Ready to hear? Are you sure? You are? Okay, good. You're not the fucking center of attention of jobs! Not every job is about doing whatever the fuck you want to do! There's no way around this. Louie wants to do things her way, instead of the way that she was paid to do!
Now you might think that this is incredibly hypocritical, but this is pretty standard behavior.
For a hypocrite like you? Yes. What really bothers me is that I used to take information like this to heart. Let me tell you how the real world works, Louie. If you do not do your job, at all or correctly, you will get fired. And that's exactly what Josh did to you. Because you wouldn't do a review calling it a depression episode. Josh fired you, and you deserve that. Imagine for a minute if SpongeBob didn't do his job at the Krusty Krab, or if he one day decided to not make Krabby Patties, or if he made Krabby Patties in the wrong way. He would get fired. That is what reality is like. Then again, that would be better than SpongeBob you're fired. In my experience as being an editor for Mr. Enter, I always do the job right. Do I make mistakes? Of course I do. Whenever I do something wrong, either A, Enter fixes it himself, B, tells me to fix it, or C, tells me not to do that in the future, as in, it's in the video, just keep it in. And even Enter himself has stated that I do a good job and follow the script well. Another thing that I don't do is self-insert opinions. According to Josh, Louie did do that. Remember, at work, you're not always gonna like the job that you're tasked to do. Sometimes you might, and that's why I love editing for John, because it's fun. Most of the time. I didn't like editing cans without labels because it was a nightmare trying out the new vectors in a newer style. Plus, let's just say that John K is controversial. I occasionally might post an opinion on mine via text, but it never goes against the tone of the video. As in, what I put in doesn't go against what Mr. Enter wants to see in the video. This is a good time as any to bring up that Louie made the video every MLP episode reviewed in 10 words or less. You see as first as just a parody of Jello, but then you remember that Josh did that parody first. You may think at first Louie didn't realize that Josh did first, or the other option, Louie probably saw what Josh did and thought it was a fun idea to do as well. And when I made my first Louie Orchard's Garbage His Wife video, I actually thought that was the case. But then, I got a comment on my video from Legend of Korra saying that rabbit hole right there went a little deeper than what I actually knew. Louis has flat out stated on her Tumblr that she did this just to only one-up Josh. Now, I want to stop what was said right there to interject something on myself. The one-up part. When I first started editing for Mr. Enter, I was actually much faster than Crimson Mayhem in terms of editing. The first video that I did for him, Opposite Day, took 5 days for me to do, and that was a 50-minute video. Crimson took triple that time for half the length. You see, the thing is I don't have a problem with this. Neither do I. What problem, you may ask? I was being much more efficient than Adam. I made something much longer in more than half the time. No one complains about efficiency unless you're the evil YouTube algorithm that kills off animation channels that made J animations go insane.
Raise your hand if you've ever sacrificed physical, mental, and/or emotional health to overwork yourself into an extremely depressive state of mind that takes days to recover from in hopes to be happy with a result, knowing it's probably not going to be worth it in the end.
But Louis did do so. She made her 10 words or less video just to show off Josh and saying, "Haha, I'm faster than you. I made a better, quicker content than you piece of shit." I don't think the point of being an editor is to outdo someone else. I think the point of being an editor is bringing everything together. Make the videos visually pleasing. Add in jokes that audiences will laugh at or at least keep a vested interest in. Make people say, "Wow, this is a great video." And I really enjoyed Cringe's video that came out on it, for the record. I know this is true because Josh made Season 1 MLP of 10 words or less on March 22nd, 2018. Louis did all 7 seasons on March 30th, 2018, 8 days later. And Josh wouldn't even get to Season 2 until April 17th of the same year. The opinions in each of the videos don't truly matter. I agree with sometimes with Josh, sometimes with Louis, sometimes I disagree with both of them, or also agree with both of them when they occasionally have the same opinion. Truth is, that's not important. Legend of Korra's comment does a better job on terms of the suing part than I could. Also, both Louis and I are transgender bronies that are editors that got sued. And no, I wasn't sued by Enter. We're gonna pause on Legend of Korra's comment and the video that he was a part of later in this section. Pin number 15, by the way. Criticisms from Louis are often hard to preach. Let's see what she says on Enter because why the hell not?
So many people seem to have a seething hatred for Family Guy, but when pressed for a reason, the most they can do is list rather neutral qualities, like the gags and the fact that the Griffins are dicks, and then immediately turn around and praise South Park for the exact same thing. Hell, most of them are too lazy to even do that, and instead just link me to one of the mysterious Mr. Enter's cacophonous rants, which is like saying, "Hey, here's a nuanced and level-headed take on immigration from Jon'sRod." You mean a man who likes to strip all the humanity out of a real-life situation and replace it with statistics?
Give me a minute. What was pin number 7?
On Derpy Boru in particular, child pornography makes up about 0.8% of the material on the site, and some people use that as a defense against any kind of criticism. It doesn't work because 0.8% is higher than 0, and 0.8% equates to 13,000 individual images. Do you know what the acceptable number of individual images of child pornography is? It's 0. 13,000 is way off from that mark.
That's funny, you're using statistics right there! And yet you complain about Jonathan Rosansky for using statistics.
Hypocrisy is not a good color on you.
But when you get down to it, it's not so much that Lily hates statistics in general, she hates statistics when they don't go in her favor. This is a good time as any to talk about echo chambers. An echo chamber is when you basically believe in stuff that you think is either A, true, or B, easier to comprehend. Let's use Toon Kritic as an example. Throughout the whole world, the age of consent and seeing people's genitals, i.e. dicks, boobs, vaginas, and asses is 18+. You see on someone 17 and under, you are a pedophile. That mostly applies to when you are 21+. In the United States, sometimes you get an exception of a 4-year range. As in, you can have sex with a minor if A, you are a minor yourself, or B, you are in a close year range. Think a 19-year-old having sex with a 16-year-old. Toon was 10+ years older than the victim, so there were no excuses here. His defense was, age of consent in the Philippines is 12. Only works if he was around 12. That implies that you could start having sex, but it doesn't mean that you can. This is where the pedophile stereotype of Japan comes into place with their consent laws being 13. I even made a joke about this on Twitter once. Let me first tell you the actual scenario. If, say, a 35-year-old from America flew to Japan, he could not have sex with a 13-year-old because she would be too young by law. When they are 17 and under, it is illegal. I mean, 18 and older, game on, but still. Toon's defense does not work in any way whatsoever. Doesn't it take shorter to learn about the law than it does to groom minors? And no, this is still on topic because part of Louis' echo chambers believe that Josh is a pedophile who will let a pedophile go and that Josh is a map. The reality of the situation is, well, listen to what I said in section 2 of this video or Josh's response about Zach. Fun fact, by the way, I first learned about Pedo Bear from BronyCon because of Josh, so him supporting maps is a lie. Josh is not someone like Amos E, a guy who defended pedophiles on Twitter. I didn't even finish that sentence from Louie about Mr. Enter. Let's finish it. Oh boy, we got a lot to unpack with that statement alone. Let's not be around the bush.
Or who once claimed that being accused of rape is worse than being raped?
Yes, those are both bad things, but really think about it. Think about all of reality and not just yourself. If I was forced to choose, I would rather be raped than accused of rape, ignoring the fact that I was raped before in my life. Let's use Toon as an example. Again, for when it came to his victims, the victims were instantly treated with love and care and compassion for the correct brony community members. I'm not 100% sure if Toon did ever rape a minor, but I know that he had plans to rape one at BronyCon 2018. Thankfully, he never got his way. Regardless, when you get accused of rape, no one defends you. They all turn on you, even if you never raped anyone. Look at the story of Pro Jerry, for example. But, whatever, you're an idiot, Louie. I get it. What else did you say about Enter?
Unfortunately, pretending that Family Guy is the scourge of Western animation and that Seth MacFarlane is Satan himself is such a common bandwagon to jump on that this critical dissonance is sadly surprising.
There are 8 Family Guy reviews from John. 9 if you count Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade of Cartoon Comedy. I edit one of those. It would take just probably a little over an hour or maybe up to 2 to watch all of them. And in my watches of them, I have never seen John call Seth MacFarlane Satan. That's a claim that was clearly pulled out of your ass, cunty, to make yourself look better. Making claims out of your ass is something I am tired of. I've been mocked multiple times because of me editing for Enter. Did you know I was called a pedophile for the sole fact that I edited for Mr. Enter? I mean, Enter himself has been called one because of his story growing around Star's children. In fact, that's what made Turkey Tom call him a pedophile once.
I feel like this is Enter sort of projecting, telling his audience preemptively that he's a creep or a horrible person of some kind before he gets outed for it by someone else. I mean, not saying he is necessarily, even though he has done some rather pedophilic illustrations in his past.
That is an absolute lie. I've drawn children, you know, fully clothed and going on non-sexual adventures. But if that's what you consider pedophilic, we got some problems with the entire animation industry. Because we have, what? Hey Arnold, Kids Next Door, Rugrats? Oh my god, those are babies! There's Fillmore, there's Recess. Do I even need to go on about this to show how ludicrous of an accusation this is? But I get it, you gotta be edgy if you want them views, and you want Senpai Mars or Rebel Taxi to notice you. Turkey, considering that you sound like you're in high school, I'm going to explain this as reasonably as I can. People have both been killed and killed others over that exact accusation. And when you get out of high school, making claims like those, either in real life or even on the internet, can bite you in the ass. It's called slander, and you can be sued for it. I know that you're thinking that what you do on the internet has no consequences, but it does. By claiming that I'm a pedophile when I'm not, gives me the ability to sue you.
People have made videos on me since my Louie rant. One of those I despise was from a channel called ASKF. Look, I know it's a small channel, but I need to talk about it here because I have been receiving shit like this lately. And I want to talk about all of the problems I have here and what they say about me in said video.
I think Crimson Mayhem is a really great editor, and my favorite videos are edited by Crimson. But his recent animated atrocities are edited by Giant Star Productions.
Excuse me, but that's not my name. I have seen this video, and why am I the only one that you got wrong, or shit on the most? This may seem small, but it tells you that this person did not do proper research on said videos, or they have some sort of hate bone for me. It's Star Giant Productions. Research matters for a reason. Assume things, don't do research. That's the logic of Louie Orchard, and it pisses me off beyond all belief when others do it.
Now, I don't want to make anyone feel bad or anything.
Well, too late for that.
But come on, man, these videos are so lazily edited. Put some passion into your work, for God's sake.
Okay, I'm gonna have to talk about how Enter selects editors. You see, he needs people that have editing experience to do so. In high school, I took a course on editing. I never bought it after I graduated high school because I couldn't afford one. In April 2018, I could finally afford a good one, and since I wanted to start making videos more, I bought Adobe Premiere Elements, the exact same thing that Mr. Enter uses today. I have been using that all the way up to November of 2019. That's what, 18 months give or take? Now I use Sony Vegas since last month, ever since my Kappa video. My point is, I make my editing good, and we'll talk about how much fun I have on it in a minute. But first,
you can see the terribly keyed out outline here.
You know that when Enter made me do different video styles and remove the background, I had to do it myself, and no matter how hard I tried, that specific vector is what came out of it, and why the fuck does one single vector make me a bad person?
I think Mr. Enter really doesn't care if he allows this to be on his channel.
Opposite Day was a test for me. I made some mistakes there, like him having a mouth and smiling, because it makes him look like some kind of pedophile. But is that what you want, Air? Come on, I legit want to know what you want from me. Is this what you want? This person also criticizes me for one video. Let me take a look at my list of videos I did for John. There are a total of 11 videos I edited. Air only criticized one of them. Imagine for this Louie rant I only saw one of her videos and only ran on that one without watching a single other one of her videos. That would be stupid and ludicrous.
Remember when I said how Saber Spark hires good people to make his videos? Well, Enter and Saber actually have quite a bit in common. They're both neckbeard nerds around the same age doing pretty much the same content. But the one difference between Enter and Saber is that Saber has higher standards. Enter unfortunately does not. And no matter how bad I feel when he constantly gets crapped on for everything he does, that is something worth noting.
Oh, talk about getting crapped on. What was it that John said in his harassment video about comparisons?
Keep in mind that a lot of us in the cartoon community do know each other. Try this, because this is exactly what you're doing. Go up to someone in real life and say, "You're way better than your friend," especially when that friend is standing right next to them. It's not a compliment.
But honestly, Mr. Enter, or any of the editors if you're watching this,
well, I can definitely say that I did, and that I disliked the video as well. At least you show likes and dislikes. I got that video from Crimson. Sorry man, but I have to disagree with you on that. I don't agree with Air on this matter, and I don't like how they more or less insulted me. It felt like a direct attack. But what about the other shoe? Well, I myself defend Crimson and I like his editing. I like my editing and Crimson's. And yes, in the same video, John talks about this.
When I got a new editor, people were rejoicing because they thought I was replacing Crimson. Some of them thought that he wasn't working fast enough, ignoring the fact that he has his own videos in his own damn life. If I fed the trolls originally and gave them some kind of reaction, some kind of tell that this was getting to me, well, maybe they would have left the people I knew alone, instead of using them as a means to get to me.
As for the improv part, Enter does allow me to also be creative in my editing skills. I was even allowed to add in my own segments.
And yes, the father's name is indeed Robert.
Robert, huh? Isn't that awesome?
If you make that comment, I swear that I will put a voodoo curse on you and your dog. I'm warning you, do not do it. I mean, I haven't watched the show lately, but the decision to kill off the character and keep them dead is definitely something that can be lauded, especially with a show that doesn't usually take this kind of risk with, like, Family Guy.
Hi guys, yes I am that Brian Griffin.
Wait a minute, excuse me for a moment.
Previously on Animated Atrocities.
Yay! Chloe has a dog with a pocket!
That reminds me, I know I'm like tempting fate here, but why isn't Sparky in this episode? Hell, why isn't Poof in this episode? Auntie Poof is in this episode. What? Does Chloe give you so few new ideas that you decided it's necessary to have an episode where she meets Poof for the first time, and then another one where she meets Sparky for the first time?
And now we present you the episode that is Chloe meeting Poof for the first time.
Odd parents, fairly odd parents. It's what you live when you were a kid with fairly odd parents.
Yeah, right.
It's not just for me. Crimson has probably improv as well, but I just don't know which ones are off the top of my head. But I know for a fact that Lily used the improv when she edited for Josh.
I really do love Spike. While his episodes haven't been the strongest, I always find him an interesting character to analyze due to how different he is from other characters in fiction and his role in the show's friendship circle. Compared to other children's shows, Spike and Twilight's friendship has been pretty unique. They've been together since the beginning of the show, except, well, when his presence didn't threaten to undo the whole setup of the plot. Oh, hello, little cutie Matt poster. What did you get here? But for some reason, Spike has stayed with Twilight all of this time. Why is this? Why does Spike not want to leave Twilight? Some will say, but...
And it wasn't just Louie that was allowed to improv. Other editors were allowed to improv that worked for Josh.
I want a magical horsey ride at warp speed!
Hi there, name's Dakota. I'm the editor. Hey, how you doing? Don't mean to interrupt or anything, but I thought I'd bring something up that I discovered during the editing process that I thought was really funny. See, my theory as to why Pinkie Pie sounds the way she does is because her voice has been digitally slowed down. The reason why I think this is because while I was editing this monstrosity, I discovered that Pinkie's voice sounded way more natural and flowing when you sped up her voice. See, here's her normal voice.
I first want to thank last year's Christmas host, Rainbow Dash.
Here it is sped up.
I first want to thank last year's Christmas host, Rainbow Dash.
Normally this would be a really odd choice, but considering the repetitive animation and padded story that's coming up, I think it's safe to assume that the creators of the show thought that Pinkie's voice was too fast and slowed her voice down so that they could fill just those extra couple seconds to make it a full 45-minute special. It seriously feels like that is a likely possibility. Anyways, sorry to interrupt, back to the review.
Warp speed!
See? Editors are allowed to have expressive freedoms when we do a good enough job. What do you think of that, Louie?
Well, that's nice, I guess, but I'd like to hear from someone with some actual brain cells and a sliver of intuition.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Oh, no.
You know that John loves my side projects too, right? I made him this video of the time him and Josh collabed in a video from 2015. I made it with their pony OCs for John's 27th birthday from earlier this year.
Hi, this is the Fiery Joker, and...
Hello.
No collabs! No collabs!
Josh.
Okay, fine. I know how this goes. You have to threaten me in order to do a review with you. Okay, and that's great, I get that. Look, I'll do whatever you want. Just please let me keep my dignity!
Josh, calm down. I'm not going to do anything bad to you.
You're not? You're not gonna threaten or blackmail me?
No, I was gonna ask nicely. Why do you think I would use mean-spirited humor like that?
Occupational hazard?
And people call me the masochist. Back to why I'm here. I've heard you say that Double Rain Boom is the worst episode of the show. Or would be if it was an actual episode. To put it lightly, I highly disagree. There exists an episode within the show's canon that is far, far worse.
Oh heavens, worse than that? What could possibly be worse than Domo Moon?
It is a true abomination. One that goes completely against the friendly and optimistic nature of the show. An episode so bad, so mean-spirited, that it has scarred the psyche of lesser men. It is Putting Your Hoof Down.
No! Wait, what?
Putting Your Hoof Down.
Really?
Yes, what's the problem?
I didn't think it was that bad.
What?
I'm serious, I don't think it's bad. Well, it's not on my favorites list, but still.
Considering I'm having a hard time believing that, I think we're going to need to take a look at this episode together.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, you hate it, I'm indifferent. That creates a nice contrast. So, without further ado, let's review Putting Your Hoof Down.
But I get it, Louie. Whenever it comes to someone that Josh is associated with, you gotta hate them too, right? Ugh. We need to wrap this section up. Let's get back to Louie's commentary on Starlight via the video with Luna Korva. This is what, pin 15? In the old days, Louie in her videos would talk about how much she loves Josh and his works. What does she say about him now?
Another day, another pack of idiots playing devil's advocate for worst pony. We haven't had a good cathartic trashing of either Starlight or the brony community in a while, so let's make up for lost time, shall we? I'm actually kinda late to this party, but Flame Bitch and Black Pigeon Speaks here went on a tirade about how Starlight didn't need to be punished because she's actively trying to do better, a sentiment that's echoed every time I complain about her. Oh, why can't you just accept that Starlight is a better character now? The answer's pretty simple. She isn't. And here's how.
Yeah, pretty much. It's sad to see how far Louie's friendship has fallen with Josh. Josh doesn't make pot shots, and about the Luna Korva thing, well, Luna also doesn't like Starlight. Josh isn't really a fan of this episode either. If anything, they seem to agree with you, Louie, on the episode saying that it's not good, and that Starlight was not good either. And yet you keep shit-talking them and saying that they are in the wrong. What the fuck are you even trying to say, Louie?
And Starlight is only growing more and more powerful as time goes on, drawing new levels of laser blasts out of fucking nowhere, because if she wasn't, the audience would be rightfully concluding that Starlight probably ought to be just straight up killed by now. Only an idiot wouldn't notice that Starlight's power is being artificially inflated to falsify a sense of tension. Case in point.
Well, call me an idiot then, Louie, because I don't see a problem with Starlight at all. Oh, by the way, Enter doesn't really have much of a problem with Starlight, or much opinion on that matter. He just finds her to be neutral.
Maybe this is just me and my crazy regard for the kids watching this damn show.
And yet you teach the message that it's better to be accused of raping someone than to be raped. And when you do go to a job, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And also when dealing with a bully, grab the heaviest fucking object you can find and essentially kill them. That's what happens when you give someone a concussion. It's essentially an attempt at murder. Those are terrible lessons for kids!
When the conversation turns to cunty purple, suddenly this is all about pragmatism.
Pragmatism? Whatever. Anything else in this video to note?
This is 2 years after Starlight has joined the squad as Twilight's apprentice, and Twilight has just admitted that she has learned fucking nothing. Hell, even these two jackasses reinforce the same sentiment.
Starlight, honey, we know that rushing in like a train is kinda your thing, but...
So when people like Luna Korva say that Starlight has recognized that her actions were wrong and is actively trying to do better, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Friendship is Magic? That's the show that I'm watching, Louie. Why doesn't Family Guy get the same treatment? Oh wait, cause in your eyes, Family Guy can do no wrong. Only My Little Pony or Waifu Giant Glimmer only can in your eyes. It's clear to me that Louie only shits on Enter because he hates Family Guy. Well, then again, let's see what she states on her Tumblr a little bit more to find out what she truly thinks of John. I mean, yeah, Angel is a dick.
So, Fluttershy heads back to her home as cheerless as when she started.
Sorry there's no cherry on top, but the rest of it is exactly what you wanted.
Fluttershy, why'd you tell him?
Enter is a fascist. You claim John is a fascist because of his Technocracy series. The purpose of the series is to showcase how each platform treats its creators. Like how Monkey Jones, a comedian, was taken down without any warning and no way to fight just for doing funny videos, while 15-year-old at the same time in Chile brutally murdered a pet cat and YouTube did nothing. Peluchin Entertainment still has his YouTube channel up to this day with over 40,000 subscribers. John very rarely has specific opinions. The only real true example was his Twitter video, and how he said pedophiles were bad. And it's usually an opinion that most people, me included, agree with.
There have also been accusations that Twitter has been housing and supporting pedophiles. Tumblr had a major problem with pedophiles on their site. After that site's crackdown on not safe for work content, many of them migrated to Twitter in order to try and form a new home there. In Twitter's defense, they have banned a prominent pedophile activist, Amos E, but that can be attributed to public outcry. It took a while for them to do something, and there are many other of these people active on the site. This is probably a good time to talk about hate speech laws, and one of the reasons why they are very, very dangerous. Pedophiles claim that what they have is a sexual orientation. People who disagree with this, me included, believe that they have a mental illness. However, a mental illness is a disability. Both discrimination based on sexual orientation or disability tend to be banned under hate speech laws or statutes, and that seems to be the stance that Twitter was taking for quite some time. Any group of awful people with sufficient criticism can claim themselves a part of an oppressed group and then place themselves above criticism with hate speech laws.
He takes it very hard to being disagreed with badly. You know I don't have a fear of disagreeing with John, right? Let me show you. I love the MLP movie. I love Fame and Misfortune. Doki Doki Literature Club is a fun game. I love Season 5 of Samurai Jack. Korra the show is awesome. And John has accepted that. We came to neutral terms. Or the term agree to disagree. And there are many more opinions like this. Mr. Enter lives in a delusional fantasy. Yeah, but at least he ain't fucking Gardevoir. I'm gonna be using that clip a lot in this video, aren't I? And you think Enter is a fascist, and that he didn't deal with enough shit. You know he's dealt with 2 stalkers, right? And one of them went after me for about 3 months. And then one where people talk about yourself and Toon has more shit to mention. This video.
For the sake of argument, let's assume that the allegations against Michael were absolutely true. He's dead. He can't defend himself. We can assume that he was a mutant alien from outer space if we wanted. Even in that case, I still think that it's a mistake to remove this episode from circulation, for a variety of reasons. First is consumer choice. In the past few years, we've heard about plenty of artists and creators who have done absolutely shameful and awful things. However, removing their creations has always struck me as a wrong choice, even ignoring the point that, at this point, we'd have to remove most of what we consume.
My only mistake was showing Toon. As I recently learned, Josh purposely took down most of the things that Toon was part of intentionally. I didn't know that when I edited that video. It's sad that you hate Enter, Louie, but then again, maybe not, since John thinks being hated by you is the best thing that he accomplished all year. You're welcome, John. You never would have gotten that reward without my help. And one last thing, Mr. Enter is great at shitposting. Once you get to know him, he can be a pretty fun guy. Alright, let's move on to why Louie is terrible at dealing with gays. Part 9, Gay Bending. I get this comment from time to time about Louie Orchard via my original rant on her, so let's get this out of the way. Louie Orchard is with a name named Jerry Pete. Stop with the confusion. She calls everyone a cisgender bigot when they misgender her. She is now Louie Orchard. But let me start off by being controversial. I don't have a problem with people misgendering people. I better explain this right away since I am a transgender fluid. When I grew up, I was more or less taught that there were only 2 genders in the world. I call this the black and white gender trope, where a person believes only man and woman exist, and whatever gender you are born with, you are stuck with for the rest of your life. You know, basically all humanity except for the 21st century. My point is, no one taught me what the fuck a gay was. I had to wait till high school to learn more. High school is when I realized I was more of a woman. I know that it's section 9, but we're gonna divide this up into 3 mini subsections because of how fucking huge they are. Let's go with the Disney one first because that seems the easiest one to tackle. First of all, she does all her fucking roundups, ending each movie like this.
What this movie really needs is gay princesses. Yikes. How about next time, instead of the racist caricature, you add some gay princesses? How about you edit out the racism and edit in something better? Like gay princesses. Maybe next time, just add some gay princesses. Like, come on, Cinderella, you had one job. This is a terrible plot hole, Disney. Do it again, but with gay princesses. Unfortunately, like every Disney movie, it's severely brought down by the total lack of gay princesses. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Gay princesses? The only thing that could possibly make it more fun is gay princesses. Like gay princesses. And I don't usually get that excited for anything except gay princesses. This movie's a dud. It really needs a life-saving injection of gay princesses. Something gay princesses. I mean, personal growth and further enlightening is almost as good as gay princesses. Only thing that
that can make it truly perfect is gay princesses. Whatever, 5 out of 10 needs more gay princesses because these movies desperately need gay princesses. I mean, maybe if it had gay princesses. It just needs some gay princesses, even if it's still brought down by the lack of gay princesses. And best of all, there's gay princesses. I mean, all that time spent doing impressions could have been spent on something that would truly make the movie great, like, oh, I'm just spitballing here, gay princesses? Anyway, I hate this movie because there aren't any gay princesses. If I can make a suggestion, gay princesses? And there's no better wholesome interpersonal drama than gay princesses. Actually, wait a minute, this movie's set in Greece. Where are my fucking gay princesses? I really enjoyed this movie. It was a lot better than I remember it being. It's just missing gay princesses. Anyway, it just needs gay princesses.
Quiet! And it pisses me off to no end. Because I want to keep this video under 3 hours, we're just gonna go only in depth with 3 of the movies she talks about. Starting with the first animation that I've ever seen in my life, Snow White.
Hey, in the woods anywhere. Never come back. Now go. Go!
Or you could stage a coup.
A tisket, a tasket. I'll put you in a casket.
There aren't even monsters in the forest. She's just paranoid. Fucking Moana stared down a lava monster. Get on her level.
You know that a man just tried to kill Snow White, right? Let's give this new trope a name. If I can invent the word cubbies and give it a meaning in this video, I'll invent a new trope as well. Let's call it the Snow White is bullshit trope. What this means is seeing a character that is considered useless by the audience, but in the story, the character has an excuse. Why does Snow White not kill the guy? Well, for one, it's the 1930s, but more to the point. How would you feel if a random person that you never met before tried to murder you, and then find out that after they couldn't go through with it, learn that your mother was the one that hired them to kill you? That'd make fucking anybody panic. Do you know why I like Mufasa's death, the 1994 one, not the one with Scar sounds like Plankton 2019? Because when he died, Mufasa, he was killed by his brother. Learned right then and there that his brother was evil behind his back, and learned that moment that he led the wildebeest to the gorge to try to kill Simba, and learned all this while he was dying? That'd make fucking anybody be traumatized. But no, cunty, you want Snow White to brush this shit out for more girl power. Are you Lily Orchard, or am I critiquing Green Lantern?
You were screaming at the logs.
Oh, I know. I'm a pathetic excuse for a main character.
Hey Lily, stop talking to yourself in the magic mirror and get back to the movie.
And the shitty microphone, I can't tell what the fuck anybody's actually saying.
When was this made? 1937? Back when we didn't have technological shit like today? This was made over fucking 80 years ago. Be lucky that Walt Disney was even allowed to make this movie. Most people thought that he would never succeed and that this movie would have made him bankrupt. If you pay attention, Lily, that didn't happen.
Why, they've never swept this room. You'd think their mother would. Maybe they have no mother.
My mother made me sweep and clean the dishes every damn day.
So, I do that as well. I fail to see how that is abuse.
Hi-ho, we're going to kill a... Oh, I didn't think that one through.
That was a little too far, dude. For her mom.
I mean, she did enter your house without permission. You can kill her legally in the US.
Okay, Miss Canadian bitch.
March straight outside and wash, or you'll not get a bite to eat.
And here we see a 13-year-old girl infantilizing a bunch of middle-aged men. These are the sexual fantasies of a Republican senator.
Excuse me a second. I didn't even finish the Google search and she's 14. Get your damn facts straight. Oh wait, I should be saying that for all of Lily's points. But then again, repeating myself for 5 hours.
Nobody knows where you are. Your plan is silly, Snow White.
She's singing about hope, Lily, not I let a trail of breadcrumbs or a map for my boyfriend. He better find me or else. That's how you perceive Snow, Lily. She hopes that the man can one day find her.
To try one.
I'd say no, ma'am.
You know, I would have probably laughed at that joke, but then I remember I went through 8 sections of misery, and we got like
me, this whole movie's plot relies entirely on Snow White being too dumb to live.
You know, a scene like that shows that Snows has flaws, right? Oh wait, I forgot. Any character that has a flaw is just as bad as Starlight Glimmer, right?
You just keep a dead woman out in the open like that? It's pretty creepy, guys.
Perhaps they didn't have the heart to bury her? Also, this is probably more of an open casket. I don't know if Canada has those, Lily, but America does. At least Pennsylvania does.
Ew, ew, fucking ew. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you kiss a corpse? What is wrong with your brain?
Well, then that means I have seen necrophilia plenty of times in my lifetime, because I last saw that when my grandmother kissed my grandfather when he passed away 2.5 years ago. Oh, by the way, my grandpa was the guy that got me into animation, and he showed me this movie first, and I loved it since. I was like 2 when I first saw this film. People do kiss people like this in real life to pay their last respects. Ugh. Maybe someday I'll go more in-depth with each Disney movie to showcase why I love them, or why I hate them, but we need to focus on other Louis videos. Alright, let's talk about The Legend of Korra next. Part 10, Korra.
Edited by The Ouija Slayer.
The Legend of Korra is legitimately one of the hardest things I have had to write in my life because this one's very complex in the realms of deconstruction. Section 11 Steven Universe is gonna be easy because Cunty Orchard makes Rebecca Sugar look salty, to the point that her video shouldn't be called Steven Universe is garbage and here's why. It should be rather called Rebecca Sugar is garbage and here's why.
As a result of this, Lapis comes off to many people as one of Sugar's dozens of attempts at woofifying absolutely terrible and reprehensible people.
In my original Louis Orchard rant, I actually called Section 10 what Louis got right. And one of those things I said was that Louis was right about the cease and desist issue and that Josh was a coward and that he sued Louis for petty reasons.
How embarrassing.
So to make things easier on myself, Section 10 will actually be having 3 mini-sections. First being Louis' likes and dislikes feature, second being what Louis got right, and last get into the nitty-gritty of me on Korra, and the opinions I disagree with on Louis, both positive and negative. Yeah, the video is called The Legend of Korra is Garbage and Here's Why, has much more positive than I remember. And I don't just mean the intro of our video, there's more to it as you go in deeper. Before we get into the essential movie, because that's how fucking long the Korra rant is, then again, it's not the longest Korra rant I've ever seen, but I did see this specific rant twice, and the Steven one 3 times. That's 5 times total for Louis' garbage videos. I want to start with a short. Many movies love to have opening shorts that have nothing to do with the movie. They have been doing this since the 1930s or 1940s, I mean that's how Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry started. Then again, Frozen 2 and Toy Story 4 didn't have opening shorts. But point is, before we talk about Louis' Korra video, I want to talk about this supplement video on Korra first. No, not factually wrong, that's just a Season 4 extension, I already have enough shit to talk about for Season 4. So let's talk about, what's the title of this video? Legend of Korra fans throw tantrum over critically video years after the show has ended. Funny, the thumbnail says, Legend of Korra fans crying to their Sami Sato body pillows. Which one is correct? However, what shit can I get out of this opening?
Oh boy, the salt is real.
Ooh, get your popcorn ready. Popcorn has salt.
The Legend of Korra is garbage and here's why was mass flagged and locked to private for misleading metadata.
The ironic thing about Louis shit talking this is that I don't give a shit when someone posts a gigantic negative rant of a show that I love because it's just not worth my time. I wouldn't mass flag it, I would just dislike it and move on. And maybe even leave a comment on the video, but that's on very rare occasions. I mean, I have done it on Louis' videos before, but to get to delete it faster than Bear can say,
Julie, do the thing.
I didn't talk about Korra before in my first Louis rant because 1, copyright. Viacom has claimed my videos in the past like The Loud House, except for SpongeBob for some reason. But other than that, each and every single one. All done in both 2017 and 2018. But they seem to have cooled down recently. It's Turner Broadcasting that has gone up and beyond from what I've heard. Just listen to Shadow Streak if you don't believe me. He can vouch for me. And the second reason is because, once again, this one's a hard one to pinpoint the exact same areas. But let's start with the first section to handle some more Louis' criticism in politics, because that's what Dr. W wants me to do more. I've been putting this on hold throughout the whole Louis Orchard Still Garbage in His Why video, and I had to hold my tongue on it.
But I'm gonna hold my tongue here.
But I guess we can talk about it now. If you have ever seen a Louis Orchard video in your life from October 2016 to now, you may have noticed that the likes and dislikes are disabled on all of her videos. The truth is, when the video has likes and dislikes disabled, it's not disabled. You can still like and dislike the video and the stats still exist. It's just that the public can't see it. Think of it as like a private video or a blocked video. Only the uploader/channel owner can see them. Lily, with her video on the response to Korra on being mass flagged, surprised me. This video, and even Bug Spray, don't really deserve the flagging system. If any two videos of Lily that do deserve it, it would be Glass of Water, Blame and Groom, for misinformation and slander. The other being the Steven Universe video for reasons that we will get to in the next section. There are two videos from Emperor Lemon that I want to show you quickly that showcases the problem. One is his videos on dislikes, which is something that you should all check out at some point.
If you're someone like Dan Olson who believes that dislikes shouldn't exist on YouTube, then you'd probably also be the same type of person to disable ratings on your own videos. Trust me when I say that this is one of the worst things you can do as a YouTuber. Seriously, in all my days on this site, I've never encountered a single successful and respected YouTuber who frequently disables their ratings. To understand why, you have to realize why most people watch YouTube in the first place, and that's to express their interests and opinions, whether that be through their uploads, watch history, comments, and yes, their ratings. When you choose to disable ratings on a video, you are deliberately depriving your audience of one of their expressive outlets, and you are consequently degrading their experience as a viewer. Even if they agree with you, if your goal on YouTube is to not be hated by your audience, then you probably shouldn't disable ratings. If you know anything about how YouTube works, you'd have to realize that this is a boneheaded decision. I mean really, anybody who expects people to support them after disabling ratings on their YouTube videos must be completely irrational.
It's interesting to note after Josh Corcher made his response to Louie Orchard back in October 2016, that was when Louie decided to disable likes and dislikes on her channel. In Louie's defense, she states that likes and dislikes are a useless metric system, what with the Rewind from 2018 being the most disliked video of all time, and I have no idea how Rewind 2019 is gonna go down. Place your bets right now if it's gonna dislike harder. It's also worth noting when Emperor Lemon talks about Leafy is here, in my eyes, a YouTuber that Louie got influenced from. I mean, Louie in her past, late 2016, made these videos called 3 AM Rambles. You can see Louie commenting on a video while playing a video game, just like what Leafy is here used to do.
It makes perfect sense on YouTube's end. They were worried about Leafy gaining too much influence and turning YouTube's culture toxic. They wanted to stop him, but they didn't want anyone to know they were deliberately interfering with the growth of a YouTube channel.
I find that kind of interesting that YouTube had standards for taking down channels in 2016, because in 2018, those standards would be gone when they just flat took down Monkey Jones around a year ago, despite the community outcry. I mean, Leafy is here is one of the biggest reasons why demonetization exists. You know, that illegal thing appealing to kids 12 and under, when they shouldn't even be on YouTube in the first place. It's like appealing to ghosts at this point. You know, that thing that YouTube got sued by the FTC for a one-day pay at Google for only a small $170 million, when they probably should have been sued $1 trillion for years of doing this? At least Viacom in March of 2007 had the balls to sue YouTube for $1 billion. A more appropriate price, thank you, even for back then when Google was less powerful. Louie disabling gives a bad foresight on her when it comes to criticism. This is even ignoring her deleting comments that don't agree with her opinion. Let's see how long this comment lasts. In my own Louie rant, people have stated I have kept negative comments up and the ratings, meaning that I can accept criticism. It's hard for me to truly care about Louie's core video if I can't give my feedback on her, unless the feedback was automatically opinions that kissed her ass. Alright, part 2 of this. Let me as fast as I can say what I liked about Louie's video to be fair on Louie and show that I do like some things about her and it's a great showcase on what I agree on. Ready? Louie saying that Korra should have gone out to be Avatar instead of being stuck in the water tribe. It's a good thing because Korra didn't even know what money was in the first fucking episode. The love shit was bullshit in Korra, especially with the love triangle. No one likes that, and I agree with Louie that was unnecessary. And I really do love Tenzin and his kids, except Milo, because fuck Milo. Korra getting the Avatar state in episode 12 season 1 was energy, and it was bullshit indeed. Korra first thing using the Avatar state to win against children is stupid and especially in the state that you have to be in a physical danger to use the Avatar state. Also hate how Korra's Avatar state is nothing more than autopilot. I also hate how Bowen had that stupid girlfriend, even though I think the brother was worse and more useless to the story. Oh yeah, hi my bar. Even though Family Guy Screens of Science indicates still the worst Family Guy episode ever in the top 10 worst animations of all time, did it worse with the murder thing, and I explained that better in 62 or 3, I believe. I love the Tenzin beatdown, and I think that it's a better beatdown than any of Korra's beatdowns, even though I like her beatdowns as well, not Tenzin. So here was a stupid entry for Korra to trust with the spirit world, because what are the odds that you went to a Korra spirit into that spirit prison that we saw Boomy and Kaya in at one point? I'm almost a stupid villain, though I'm surprised that you didn't compare him to Starlight. Cabbage Guy's story would be bad indeed. We should have a journey for Korra, and that Korra is way over designed, and I wish that we saw a Babu Korra and how hard it is to train a baby Avatar that fucking knows everything. And I hate to recap this time around because Avatar did it better, and why couldn't Barry make a propagated film on Korra? You could have thrown that shit into the live action movie. And that's all. It seems like a good time as any for me to rank the books, 1 being best, 7 being worst. You can see that my favorite book is a Korra book, but my least favorite book is also a Korra book. All the Avatar books are smack down in the middle. So in essence, I don't know if Avatar or Korra is better. Depending on my mood, some days I think Avatar The Last Airbender is better, other days I think Avatar The Legend of Korra is better. For now, I just think they're equal. They're both on the same level as good. Korra has more bad, but also has more good. And now part 3, where I deconstruct the Lily video. I'm not gonna go too far about this since Legend of Korra fans have done better than I possibly can, and people have done the same thing for Mr. Enter's Korra rant. I'm pretty sure people have deconstructed ER's review of Korra as well as Alpha Alpaca Pack, but let's get this started.
Unfortunately, this is the current model for television these days. They're not designed to be enjoyed in bite-sized chunks, they're designed to be binge-watched on streaming services. Netflix even goes as far as to release entire seasons at once, and take a while, guess what happens? That's right, people chew through the content in a few days because they have no self-restraint, and suddenly they're starved for content until next year. It's like the problem with Steven bombs cranked up to the worst possible scale. Now, the Netflix model does alleviate the constant to-be-continued cycle that plagues serialized shows, but the new problems it creates is considerably worse.
I have to object to that because I prefer the continuity strict shows that the 2010s, especially 2015 onward, have been doing, more than the old slice-of-life comedy approach. I know that my past self did, but I don't care anymore. It's fine if people want comedy, but I'm not into comedy as much. I love darker, more dramatic stories. Comedies and silliness is fine, but it's not entirely my cup of grape juice. And fuck tea. Grape juice is best drink.
On top of all that, later seasons pull the Steven Universe gambit of using trauma in place of actual character development. After being poisoned by Zaire, Korra spends most of the 4th season wandering around the Earth Kingdom after having lost her avatar mojo. Well, okay, I guess that makes sense. Being beaten that badly will certainly leave this kind of effect on someone, but the problem is that she's the avatar and it's been 3 fucking years. The fucking avatar, who faces near-death experiences on a constant basis and even had her own goddamn soul ripped out of her body and slapped around like a wet paper towel, has been wandering around in a catatonic state for 3 years after this one fight, which wasn't even the worst fight she's ever been in. She reacts to Zaire with the kind of fear and paranoia similar to a war veteran, but Zaire isn't the worst villain she's fought and didn't even give her the most traumatic experience she's ever had. The fact that Korra shrugged off far worse than this means that the attempt to pull the trauma card on this one person rings completely hollow and smacks of desperation in response to an increasingly critical eye being turned toward Korra as a character. The show wants me to feel pity for Korra because she's struggling through PTSD, but I've seen Korra shrug off far worse than this, and so I don't feel any pity for her.
Still doing the Snow White is bullshit trope, I see. I don't want to dwell on here because it's the same thing as Section 9, but I want to reiterate. If someone came up to me, fucking beat me up with a book causing me severe depression, and made me get a bloody nose and a concussion, and made me have a mental breakdown because of that, that would traumatize me. Which did happen with my older brother when he beat me up multiple times. Fuck you because you're a piece of shit. I still remember the shit you did to me 2.5 years ago. But if someone out at night in the middle of a city pulled a knife after me, threatening to kill me if I didn't give him all my money, I would die, I'd be fucking scared as hell. You don't choose which is worse because both would be traumatizing as fuck. Even if one is worse than the other, you can still be traumatized over the least bad one because it's still fucking threatening. Thankfully, that second one never happened to me. What Louis seems to imply here is that you choose what gives you PTSD, when the exact opposite is true. The guy who raped me last year gave me more fear than my brother who assaulted me, even though what my brother did was technically worse in my eyes, but not in emotion. I had about 3 or 5 months not fully remember what I did after that from the rapist. And I had a fear of gays because it said instant, making me question my sexuality and certain life choices. Luckily, I seem to be over that now, and I am gonna start the next decade in January preparing for a sex change. Louis, you were also raped. I imagine it would be the same for you. You don't choose what makes you depressed. Korra going through all that shit is a lot. Also, Zaire was not only the most recent PTSD for Korra, but he fucking put poison in her. That was still in her, contributing to Korra's depression.
But they just couldn't help themselves, and at the very end of the season, they matched up Korra and Asami. The two of them walk into the spirit world experience so far, but ever since Steven Universe has been finding ways to hide all their gay relationships behind fusion and death, I'm sick and fucking tired of creators claiming to be big supporters of LGBT people, but taking every measure possible to minimize their presence in their works to avoid potentially pissing off the Tories. That fan art, fucking fan art, can capture more emotion and chemistry in a single wordless frame than the writers can manage in 4 years.
Oh boy, more of the Section 9 gay bending retreading I see. Once again, turn something into a giantess doesn't automatically make it better. By contrast, there's the giantess Korrasami art that I love. And also, other shows that have that problem, like MLP giving Spike wings, did nothing for his fucking character. He learned to fly and fire those beasts, but that's all that I can remember Spike using his wings, and even then it's just a ripoff of Princess Twilight Sparkle.
3. It turns the story into a fucking fanfic. If there were a list of things you should never do when writing a story about the Avatar, the words Dark Avatar would be right at the top of that list, bold-faced, underlined, circled with red ink, with arrows pointing to it reading, "Don't fucking do this!" Coincidentally, right underneath it would be Dragon Ball Z Hadouken lasers.
Give me a minute.
And then makes reference to the video every MLP episode reviewed in 10 words or less. You know, the idea that both of us stole from Jello Apocalypse. I think that since Josh has made plagiarism the core of his brand for so long, he legitimately thinks he owns the things he steals. Or maybe he's just salty that I'm better at it than he is.
Funny, in this part here, you're not ripping off H-Bomber guy anymore, you're ripping off the first YouTuber that I ever subscribed to, Alex Rochon. This video here.
And then there are just some bosses that, dear God, am I seeing this right? This boss's weak spot couldn't be more obvious even if it were flashing, had arrows pointing to it, and had a neon banner on the weak spot saying, "Hit me!"
And yet you, Louie, claim to be more original. I know that nothing new is under the sun and that we're all guilty of ripping each other off, but it shouldn't be that obvious of knowing what you're ripping off. You know, this section could go on and on. Earlier this year, I did a review of all 3 Avatar books. But right now, I wanted to do Avatar since no one else does for Avatar. Basically, every episode of Avatar. Earthbenders are dicks. Useless episode with pointless shipping. May and Ty Lee and Azula are like the Equestria Girls sirens of the 2000s. I just noticed that Korra will eventually copy this book in Book 7. All it takes to fool a nation now is a headband. So who is the painted lady then? It's like Power Ponies, but with Avatar. And I wanted to do Korra as well, but I couldn't muster up the energy to give a full 100% review, because my opinion on the show varies. If you want section 10 of this video simplified, I agree with Louie on many things, but not most of the things. And I still love Korra, just as much as Avatar. Now let's get into the true shit. The Steven Universe is garbage in his wife video, aka the worst video that Louie Orchard has ever made. The reason why I ranted on her a year ago today. Part 11, Steven Universe.
Edited by the Ouija Slayer.
Long ago, Louie Orchard was a YouTube channel that I didn't feel the need to rant on twice. Then, everything changed when the Steven Garbage attacked. Hey, Louie made an Avatar joke in her Steven Universe is garbage in his wife video, so why can't I?
But everything changed when the hiatus is attacked.
You know, like sections 9 and 10, this one also contains 3 subsections. The first is how I believe that Louie's criticisms on Steven Universe are justified.
What?
Jesus, tap dancing Christ! What is with you guys whenever I say an objective opinion? First, it was me saying that the worst Shrek movie, Shrek the Third, was better than Happily Never After. Now you're weirded out with me agreeing with Louie on the worst video ever? Oh, by the way, her Steven Universe review is a piece of shit. But that's because the criticisms don't work for Steven Universe. That wasn't a joke. Do you know which show this rant style will be better for? The Powerpuff Girls, 2016. I'm not kidding. That show is terrible. And basically what Louie says about Korra, except that the criticisms for there will work better there as well. But let's use Steven Universe as a better example. Steven Universe's garbage why has already been rightfully deconstructed by other YouTubers like Cartoon Universe and Grandpa Glasses. Funny, Cartoon Universe's video came out before mine, and the channel has way more subscribers than me, and yet I have more views than them. And Grandpa Glasses' video came out after mine and has way more views than me, but much less subscribers. Huh, interesting. What a weird way for YouTube. But, going back to the 3 subsections, sub 1 is called Powerpuff Girls 2016, 2 is called Goofball, 3 is Final Destination. Let's finish this video. I'll show you how much Louie's criticisms work better on Powerpuff Girls 2016.
The fact of the matter is, Bismuth is coated black, which is what makes it all the more gross that her defining character moment is Rose getting on her case for being too extreme when dealing with literal fascists for whom the rigid and aggressive caste system was an all too familiar wound, and then bubbling her for thousands of years only for her to break out of her bubble and repeat this entire runaround where she will presumably write the letter from Beach Temple Jail.
Yeah, because Powerpuff Girls wasn't racist with Bliss having a terrible OC design that was a ripoff of Bunny, one of the most beloved Powerpuff Girls 1998 characters who got only 1 episode and sacrificed herself to save the girls in that episode, and this OC who would look better with the brown hair had quadrupled the amount of episodes and is still alive. Oh, and she's a black woman that loves to shout a lot real loud. I'm kidding. It was very racist.
That's not how puberty works, you fucking idiot! You don't just suddenly have the body of an adult, you develop it over time! No 14, 15, or 16-year-old has a fully developed body. That's just a stupid idea people have from teenagers being played by grown-ass adults on TV! You want to showcase puberty? Give Stevonnie a cracked voice and acne! That's what fucking puberty is like! But that wouldn't be conventionally attractive now, would it? Second of all, you're
best way to demonstrate being objectified is to literally fucking objectify Stevani? That's your best excuse? Holy fucking, this isn't a metaphor. This is just being the thing. Sugar, you are such a fucking creep.
Powerpuff Girls had 3 episodes with Bubbles twerking.
The animation in Steven Universe is bad. Really fucking bad.
No, Powerpuff Girls is just way worse. I could go on and on, but that's my main point. And if Louis did use these criticisms for Powerpuff Girls 2016 instead of Steven Universe, not only would people have forgiven Louis, but it could have been better than Hawk the Demon's take on it.
Where's the violence? It's supposed to be violent.
I did a small experiment offhand, and I found something interesting. Louis' Steven Universe video would be a lot better if she had a straw man. See? Let's talk about Hot Diggity Demon for a minute here. He does similar content that Louis does as well. Even some of his titles are similar. But what helps him out is that he has a companion named Goofball.
Hey, cutie. Whoa! Oh my! Keep it in your pants, Annie Oakley.
And Goofball makes every video of his funny. It prevents Max from looking like an ignorant douche. Try to imagine if Louis had something like Goofball. I edited Goofball into Louis' Steven Universe for 2 segments. Take a watch.
It's Lapis who is the abuser in that scenario. She pulled a fast one on Jasper by agreeing to fuse, only to then trap them at the bottom of the ocean, kept her chained there for over a year, and then admitted to it. This doesn't even go to Sugar's usual problem of just disregarding things in previous episodes to suit her tunnel vision. The episode that's supposed to establish Lapis as an abuse victim does the exact opposite because Sugar writes like somebody who has never left her fucking... Pearl's growth in this episode hinged on her ability to tear apart a large, unrepentant black woman. She sings a damn song about how she can't be strong in a real way until she can take on this big fucking brute. Jesus Christ, Rebecca, are you on fucking Ambien?
Hey, creep! Hey, creep! Hey, creep, hey, creep, hey, creep, hey, creep, hey, creep, hey, creep, hey, creep!
See? Now that, in my eyes, made the video better. I wish I myself had some kind of funny figure or straw man in my videos. Yes, I have my friends, but I only bring in my friends for big videos like this one. And even then, unless they're an editor, they don't do anything for my videos. They get started in my Top 10 Worst 2000 anime movies, most notably the Samurai Jack dub, in the theater with them sitting next to me. Lily technically does have a straw man. She calls it Billy, which is apparently her... son?
Mom, please come out of the fridge. Have any therapists returned my calls yet? No. Did you bring me the cyanide I wanted? No. Well then piss off.
You see, Goofball worked because A, he's a ghost, and B, he was Max's roommate. No need for any relationship, unless you count fan art, of course. It's very uncomfortable if you treat the character as a family member, especially when it's not based off of a real person. I don't recall Louie having any children. The only thing of children that I myself know of Louie is in her glass of water with Sheldon Cooper when she volunteered for a mental health organization that provide education and day treatment to kids with autism. As for the married part, I recall Louie being married to someone like Lizzie, but
fuck, I hate my life right now. Every few weeks since June, another set of misfortunes seems to fall right into my lap.
Yeah, that. Made 5 days after my video came out when some jackass hacked 2.3 grand out of my bank account. This is depressing me. Can I get back to Sugar Conroy's Let's Play on Super Mario Galaxy 2? That always cheers me up. Never mind, let's just talk about Steven. And now, for part 3. The thing that people probably wanted me to see talk about the most. And you know what? I'm going to do a similar fast talk that I did in the Korra segment. Only this time, instead of doing the speed things on the things I agree with Louie, this time I'm going to list all the things I love about Steven Universe. Louie's Korra video has a bit of stuff that I agree with. Here, no, not a single thing. So, let's begin. Steven is one of the most well-written characters of all time. Most children in media history seem to be whiny brats, abused victims, or clones of having fucking annoying voices. Steven is different because he has a goddamn good personality. Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl are great fucking mothers, better than Twilight, and are also better than reboot Powerpuff Girls or even DC Supergirl 2019, where they thought killing Wonder Woman's boyfriend who did nothing wrong was a good thing. I love in Steven Universe the character Peridot the most. She's funny and cute and quirky, kind of like a Rule 63 invaded sin, which I do believe that Rebecca said was intentional. For Lapis, I really enjoy her struggle. She was trapped in the mirror for thousands of years and she had to deal with the abuse of Jasper, which may lack this to victim. Greg is fucking awesome. He's literally the best father in animation history. He made a song about pork chops and fans sound cool. Not even Homer Simpson ever did that. Most fucking parents are like Buck Hulk or the Rugrats, which are parents I want to punch in the fucking face. But Greg is just awesome. He cares about his son. His kind of character led to characters like Joanna from Hilda. Connie is cute. The only characters that I hate are characters that barely get screen time, like Onion Con Spanish or Sadie and Lars on certain occasions. Business was and fun 100 episodes. I love the lore and backstory of the show. I love how Pink Dano is actually Rose for the most part. The Ruby's playing baseball, I love watching. Lauren's song that she sings to Jasper, I love, and I love the Undertale parody that came from it. The music in the show is fucking awesome, as well as the animation. Holy fucking shit, the animation! It looks better than most Cartoon Network shows nowadays, and it took steps of Adventure Time and did it 11 times better. I love how Mindful Education had a guest animator from Studio Trigger, which is my favorite fucking animation company of all time. They made 2 of my favorite anime shows, which are Little Witch Academia and Kill la Kill. I love fusion in this show. Fuck, my own OC is the fusion of Aqua and Diana, Little Witch Academia. I love the redemptions of the diamonds. The fight scenes are epic and probably the best ever done in Flash next to Friendship is Magic. Wow, that was a lot. Now that I have stated what I love, let's get into the meat of things. Well, you know how in cartoons when the good food is made, you see, smell marks and aroma with wavy lines that drags you by the nose? Some cartoons even have you get lifted off the ground doing so. My point is the thing before the meal and preparation. Well, that's what I'm going to start with. Because the first major point for me to deconstructing Louis Steven Universe's garbage and his why they do isn't so much the show itself, but rather how Cartoon Network treats the show. Oh, you know what I'm getting at. The hiatuses.
But everything changed when the hiatuses attacked. Steven Universe's schedule went off the rails almost immediately, airing regularly for a while but then condensing itself into short bursts of episodes called Steven Bombs. The first hiatus lasted for 41 days and started with the episode Bubble Buddies, the 7th episode of the series. The show had just started and it was already taking a break. The second lasted 3 weeks with Arcade Mania just 5 episodes later. The third lasted another 3 weeks with another 5 episodes later. Then they got progressively worse. The fourth hiatus lasted just over 3 months and came back to Coach Steven just 5 episodes after the last hiatus came back, and then stuck around consistently for a few months before going on hiatus for another month. We're not even through season 1 yet, and already Steven Universe has been on hiatus for over 220 days. The 6th hiatus finally broke into season 2, lasting 45 days and returned to Sworn to the Sword. Then, only a week later, went on hiatus for another 3 weeks to come back to Cry for Help in Keystone Motel. Then a week later, starting to see the theme, went on hiatus for another 54 days and returned to Nightmare Hospital. Then the show managed to remain consistent for a little while before going on hiatus again for 80 days and coming back to The Answer. Once again, the show lasted for only another week before having the second longest hiatus of 5 months between then and Super Watermelon Island. Another 5 episodes, then it went on hiatus again for 44 more days, returning to the Summer of Steven, where the series managed to stay on air for the rest of the summer. Then the 12th hiatus came, lasting another 2 months and returned on Gem Harvest. The 13th hiatus lasted another 2 months, returning on Steven's Dream. Then another one that was just under 3 weeks, so I don't count it. Then the longest hiatus of 6 fucking months. And this was arguably the most egregious offender because the series left off on Lars dying and being revived and then left on Homeworld. And then we came back to a municipal election, Steven being pissy that Connie won't talk to him, Lapis panicking that Homeworld is coming to Earth and reminding everyone that there are fascists in space coming to kill them all, and Steven and the cool kids start a band. Then the show went on hiatus for another 3 months. If you believe that it's all Cartoon Network's doing for the constant hiatuses, which I don't, Sugar should have caught on to this a while ago and written her episodes accordingly. If you're constantly going on a hiatus, you don't need to make this kind of crap, but Sugar continued making it anyway.
You're joking, right? I don't really fully know where to start on this. Well, let's start with the obvious that cartoon creators do not get to control the schedule. I don't know a better way to say it. A cartoon creator creates the pitch of a cartoon, and that's it. Not the animation, not each and every story, just the main focus of the show. You're even lucky if you get to control the full story. I could do a full entire separate video just as long as this one in general to showcase how much Louis got wrong with that one statement. Look at shows like Angry Beavers, Powerpuff Girls, Rugrats, SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, Friendship is Magic, Korra, Wonder Woman Yonder, Star vs. Kids Next Door, Ren and Stimpy, Club Land, We Bare Bears, Adventure Time, Regular Show, Wabbit, Looney Tunes Show, Infinity Train, BoJack Horseman, Making Fiends, Fairy Opera, Steven Neutron, and My Life as a Teenage Robot. I just named 23 shows right there, the same age as me, and all of these shows have been abused by networks. Steven Universe is just another one of the 23 shows, and there are many more that I could name. I mean, the highest thing that Louis mentioned, My Life as a Teenage Robot had the exact same problem, and even then, while Steven Universe might be the biggest offender of it, it is not the worst offender of it. That would go to Danny Phantom, where in Season 3, we start with Danny Phantom with ice powers, and then later in the season, he is learning about his ice powers. Steven Universe, at the very least, is able to air its episodes in chronological order, and not air them out of order. Nickelodeon has been shit since the 90s. Angry Beavers was not allowed to air its final episode because A, it broke the fourth wall and no show was allowed to do that, despite the fact that Kablam did that prior and Kablam came out first, and B, it stated that it was the final episode, and Nick had a harsh rule of cartoons not allowing shows to say it was the final episode, because Nick wanted kids to beg for more episodes. This is basically an adult giving kids candy, but when the kids want more, the adult lies to their faces saying that they do have more candy, but in reality they ran out. In fact, it took until the show Danny Phantom for Nicktoons to even have finales. Say what you want and how bad it was at least progress in the right direction. I could go on and on these various points. My major point being, Louie's essentially saying that these problems are all of the creators' problems, not the networks themselves that abuse them. The way that Louie talks sounds like that you have full 100% control on the product that you create. I mean, that would be super nice, but that is far from the truth. I have been studying animation for literally the entire decade of the 2010s. And as someone that edits for an animation critic for a living, and also as I myself do write animation reviews as my main series, I can guarantee you that is far from the truth. But what bugs me most about this line is when you add this Louie line into context.
The point of today's video is that I'm a professional, and that I'm right about Starlight, and you're not because fuck you. Now give me money.
I cannot at times tell if Louie Orchard is supposed to be a parody of bad animation critics, like those people with SpongeBob doing petitions to change the Super Bowl after how badly SpongeBob was done there, or how people are saying that Steven Hillenburg would be rolling in his grave right now with the SpongeBob musical, even though I did see on Broadway last year and I think it's the best thing of SpongeBob ever.
As a parody of critics for Louie, I could definitely see that. Critics in general, especially animation critics, often parody as being rude / annoying / evil as possible, and basically nitpicking the smallest of things and those idiots taking it as seriously as possible. In reality, most of those critics like Alpha J, Ellis Mark, Phantom Strider, Shadow Streak, Mr. Enter, Pie Guy Rules, Chef Ellis, Rebel Taxi, Self Specs, and many others that are good animation critics that I didn't have time to name, or if I forgot to name them, we don't go after every single detail and take it as high regard. Louie could be an excellent parody to showcase the fundamental problems with this. There are two problems going that route. Number one is that Hot Titty Demon is already that, and he puts animation to his parody of works. And number two is that I don't feel like that Louie is doing a parody. Louie, I truly do believe that she thinks that Rebecca Sugar is a terrible person. There are many things that Louie claims about Rebecca that Louie herself thinks is true, and being the cunty orchard that she is, uses her echo chamber to silence people that have evidence showing case otherwise. Even ignoring all that, you actually gave me a great reason why binge watching is a good thing. Louie is basically kicking and screaming her way through the 2010s and more than likely the future. There are many reasons why I think that, but let's stick to what's relevant now. She prefers shows to air one episode a week each and every week, and that's it. But binging makes you get through one show as quickly as possible that you want to see. I don't want to have to wait 1 week to watch one episode of a show that I really love. That would be stupid on multiple levels. If this video was titled Cartoon Network's treatment of Steven Universe is garbage and here's why, people would hate you less, Louie, because your points so far have been nothing more than how Cartoon Network's treatment of Steven Universe is awful and not the actual show. And even beyond that, the rest of the review barely does that. I know what you're thinking, the video is called Steven Universe is garbage and here's why. Isn't the review about Louie talking about the show Steven Universe and why she hates it? Nah. Clearly this review of Steven Universe has nothing to do with Steven Universe. Let's spend 95% of this video saying that Rebecca Sugar is just as bad as Adolf Hitler. Let's spend a lot on this video saying that Starlight Glimmer is the worst character in animation even though she has nothing to do with Steven Universe. Ooh, let's talk about fascism. Let's talk about how the Diamonds are all Nazis for some odd reason. Let's keep throwing Louie's ex-boss Josh Scorcher under the bus for something that he did not do. Let's shit talk bronies and people who love lore. Ooh, I know. Let's stop the Steven Universe review and talk about 10 minutes of Star Wars. Because I need to talk about fascism, let's define what it actually means. A fascist is a person who advocates for the systematic extermination / subjugation of a group of people. To be 100% honest, I never heard of that word until I saw Louie's Steven Universe video, and it 100% confuses the fuck out of me.
You know what The Last Airbender didn't have? An entire character arc for the cabbage guy. But that's what Steven Universe is doing.
I wouldn't mind that, Louie. It'd be better than all book era Korra. Damn it, Louie, why does a side idea sound better than your actual ideologies? This is why I really hate when people themselves call themselves professionals. Because if you call yourself a professional, I'm gonna judge you as one. Let's talk about the racists and prove that you suck as a professional, Louie. Louie keeps claiming that the show is racist, but I have to be blunt. I don't see it. Even if someone else told me that this was racist, I have a hard time seeing it. I take back what I said in my Korra segment. This is the hardest part I ever had to write.
Because personally, in my real life, I never grew up in a mixed race society. Maybe I did in high school, but oh god, not elementary school. I was in a white class all the way. My parents failed to teach 8-year-old me that it's alright to shake a black person's hand and not 30. Also, they failed to teach me about midgets. I have a hard time perceiving the quote-unquote racist characters that do exist in the show. But I can easily debunk the characters not in the show. Call me racist if you want. You're all just Patrick Star realizing that we have the technology.
The whole book featured a lot of unused or scrapped ideas that never made it into the show proper.
There we go.
But then you turn the page and you're greeted with, oh, for fuck's sake, are you kidding me with this shit? Sugar didn't design this.
Then tell me again, why you're mad at Sugar again?
This drawing somehow, beyond all reason, managed to make it into the public hands, and the public reacted very appropriately.
Once again, I need to talk about deletion. It's a bad idea in and of itself, but there's a difference between being an ignorant dumbass for one day and being committed to your ignorant dumbass life. The way I see it, this was more or less a bad idea that was made a long time ago, without realizing that it was bad. Think of this as like your ideas that you had in middle school. Some may still work, but most you look back at and think to yourself, oh my fucking god, that was stupid. I'm pretty sure we all have made a racist drawing or a racist joke or a racist something in our lives that we regret doing. Also, every human makes mistakes. To quote Rarity from To Where and Back Again, Sugar went back to apologize, they accepted. Everyone has moved on. And if you don't move on, that's your problem. Also, why does Family Guy get a free pass again, Louie? They do way more racism that's not good in the slightest. And other shows I'm pretty sure have done this as well. The race in and of itself, I can't go deeper because I am white. So let's talk about Concrete. First of all, the redesigned fan art actually looks nice. But my problem is, if this was not in the show, why are you so uptight about it? I would understand if this went through all the phases like the Korra phase, but as far as I am concerned, it did not. In the description of Louis Steven Universe's Garbage in His Why video, she found an essay written by a black person to showcase that this show is racist to black people, and that black people should hate this show entirely on that one factoid alone. Well, I want to make a counter-argument for this. I don't normally do this, and I don't even like doing this for the record, but I need to showcase that this show is not racist by getting help from a black friend of mine. I want to stop talking for a few minutes and have you guys listen to a speech done by a friend of mine named Jordan, aka Chikorita Cheez-Its.
Hey guys, this is Chikorita Cheez-Its, a friend of Star Giants. I wanted to talk about the racial segment on Lily's Steven Universe video. Just so you know, I am African American. However, I'm not the best to fully decode the racial stuff on Steven Universe, but I can at least state this. For Sugalites, I don't really have a problem when it comes to the voice actor because big-time celebrities usually only do one episode for voice acting. It's very rare to do 2 or more. You're lucky to even get 1. I never saw anything racist for Bismuth, nothing stereotypical from what I could tell. Concrete, I do have bits of issue with because, yeah, it's not a good drawing. But I can forgive it because, 1, it's a deleted item, and it's not in the show, so it was just a dumb, quick sketch or thought. We've all done and said awful things in our lives that we regret, so I imagine that was the case for Concrete. 2, Rebecca Sugar has issued an apology on the issue, so people reacted perfectly is a bad stigma. And 3, Concrete was not designed by Rebecca Sugar. Heck, it wasn't even designed by a white person. It was designed by a black person, Lamar Abrams, which is something that Lily unfortunately glosses over in her review to make Sugar look worse. As for the zoo, I don't see it as entirely racist despite what the past state. I think it's more in line with Starlight Glimmer's Equal Town, where it's viewed as a peaceful paradise, but when you dig deep into it, it's not a utopia. They probably shouldn't have called it a zoo, but I can see the mistake here. While Concrete is a little too on the nose, you have to actually study a lot to know about the human zoo, since most people don't actually know them. In short, I don't think Rebecca Sugar is racist, and there is much more racist content out there that ain't Steven Universe. Also, Lily, before I go, that one pony from Fame and Misfortune does not have your cutie mark. And also, Applejack and Rainbow Dash are gay for each other, so you saying that you're mad for no gay ponies in the MLP series finale didn't watch the episode.
And there you go. That's my proof that Rebecca Sugar is not racist. And because my trans name is Rebecca, when I came to terms with the name in the past year, let me tell you, hearing all the fucking times that Cunty Orchard shit-talking Rebecca Sugar each time and her shitting on her name is just an extra layer to pissing off. It's like Louie is directly attacking me personally. It's what it feels like.
God, what a piece of shit.
And to steal a bit from Cartoon Universe.
Also, I'm sorry, they're aliens. They're aliens. Look at this cast and crew. Does this look like a racist cast and crew? No, it does not. We're going to ignore the fact that Garnet is sick and a fan favorite character, and the pizzas and Mr. Smiley among the rest of this racially and spatially diverse cast of characters inside and out. No.
Fuck, if you want to go deeper, remember the argument from Hot Diggity Demon?
Do you want to know why, even with the greasy, boiling hot, marinara-laced blood of 1,000 generations of Guido ancestors coursing violently through my veins, this still doesn't bother me? Because Mario isn't real. Nobody thinks this is real. None of this is real. It's all fake. Apu is racist. The religious, romantic, bowling, gardening, singing, firefighting, clog dancing, furniture building, vegan doctor who came to America looking for a higher education, built a successful business to pay off his student loans, and started seducing our women? That guy?
That reminds me. Somewhere I remember Louis calling Walt Disney himself a racist anti-Semite because of the racist shit that he did in the 40s. Which was standard back then. And he's only considered a Nazi that hates Jews because Hitler's favorite movie is Snow White. And nothing more. No actual evidence, just because the worst guy in the world in the 40s loved a Disney movie. That'd be like saying Steven Hilberg would be a shitty person if Osama bin Laden's favorite cartoon was SpongeBob. And if you think that's ridiculous, that's how I feel about Louis when I see her calling Rebecca Sugar a racist pedophile for these drawings. Oh wait, pedophile. Now where have I heard that accusation before? Oh yeah, Stevani. You see, this is how Louis perceives Stevani. I would explain it, but I'll let this fan animation do the talking for me.
There you are, watching and enjoying the newest episode of Steven Universe, and all of a sudden, you're a pedophile.
But I'm not a pedophile.
You didn't ask for this, you didn't choose this, but there it is. You're drawing child pornography of cartoon characters and chatting with minors online, showing them your genitals and seeing theirs. And now you're in prison. And that's what happens when you watch the shitty work of a fucking pedophile Jew that has no clue on what makes a story good.
And as for Louis' response to Fusion and Stevani, well, let's hear it.
Hi, this is Lily. I'm cutting in because as I was editing this bit, I found a little nugget of information about Stevani straight from Sugar's mouth.
You know that cut would have been funny if the cutting in was literally anybody else? Cutting into yourself is not funny, it doesn't make sense. You guys remember how I gave a warning on Louis being super angry earlier in this video? Well, I'm gonna have to do it again. I would put an annotation in myself for you to skip, but YouTube removed annotations from all videos at the start of this year. I guess YouTube didn't see how annotations would be good. Gee, YouTube, you stayed in your rewind this year that you want to be better. Bringing back annotations would be a good start, but let's hear from Lily Orchard. This right here is the angriest that she has ever been in all of her videos. Let's hear it in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, first of all, that's not how puberty works, you fucking idiot! You don't just suddenly have the body of an adult, you develop it over time! No 14, 15, or 16-year-old has a fully developed body, that's just a stupid idea people have from teenagers being played by grown-ass adults on TV! You want to showcase puberty? Give Stevani a cracked voice and acne! That's what fucking puberty is like! But that wouldn't be conventionally attractive, now would it? Second of all, your best way to demonstrate being objectified is to literally fucking objectify Stevani? That's your best excuse? Holy fucking, this isn't a metaphor! This is just being the thing! Sugar, you are such a fucking creep!
And we're back. Did you enjoy that mini rant of Louis? Did you not go deaf from it at least? Ow. Or if you were smart and sane, you would have skipped it to this time here. I would deconstruct Stevani, but not yet. About that rant from Louis Orchard. Excuse me, Jerry P. Could you please explain to us what Louis Orchard did wrong there?
This is a complaint a lot of people have about the analysis community, is that it's way too negative.
Oh, I see. It's really sad that the best way to fix a person that I hate in the present is to look at their past selves. In this case, their older videos, to showcase the best way to fix a person in the present. And Lily's theory really was not only one of her first videos that she ever made, and it's not only one of the first videos I've ever liked from Lily and possibly saw about 5 years ago when I was still in high school, but it's not the only video that I have seen from Lily that helps deconstruct her current Steven video.
For a while, the mysterious Mr. Enter was so bad with this, he'd frequently call for writers to be blacklisted for the crime of writing a lackluster episode of MLP. Bronies will be negative toward the show. A lot.
And yet, here you are, Louis, blacklisting Rebecca Sugar. This video is nothing more than you shit-talking Rebecca and really anyone that watches this video. Oh wait, about that.
If you are a fan of Steven Universe still watching this video and you think this shit was clever, you got scammed.
Well, I have been scammed then because I am still fine with the twist. Notice that I said fine. I like the twist, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. Steven, please answer why that is.
I can't believe Mom did that to you. Actually, I can totally believe it.
And that's not the only time that Louis shit talks the viewer as well.
Now, I can already hear you angrily typing out your comments that, well, actually, Sugar intended this to be the revelation from the very beginning and laid out all the hints. It was hinted at from the very start. And I'm gonna stop you right there and say, no it wasn't. She is fucking with you.
I mean, the reason why Hot Diggity Demon doing that same bit was better because A, it was funnier, and B, he animated it much better.
So before you all start typing up your little comments, I just want to acknowledge that in light of all this, my perspective is telling me two things.
Let's take a look at how Louis Orchard starts her Steven Universe video.
Oh, good lord, this was a mistake.
Even the beginning pisses me off. And it's not just the beginning that does that either. Look at how she ends her review.
That's the kind of storytelling I love. Simple, personal, and direct. Something that has been sadly lost in modern cartoons as more time is spent building a massive world with detailed lore and grand stakes and then putting nothing into it. Something Steven Universe was more than capable of doing, but just chickened out and chased the boring, serialized, big, grand story. Now get the fuck out.
And you also state that me watching this video feeds your monstrous ego and your pathological need for worship. Okay, Louis, are you a siren from Equestria Girls? I mean, that might make a little sense since your favorite character is a siren. I don't know about you guys, but what Louis says in her videos is pretty much a scam. Kinda like how after YouTube Rewind 2018, when YouTube got their Rewind to be the most disliked video ever on the platform in a time span of 8 days, and the first video to get over 10 million dislikes, they said they were gonna make YouTube better, while simultaneously making 2019 the worst year in YouTube history. And they also said that all the dislikes were not actual dislikes and part of a dislike mob that isn't about criticism. Now, let's deconstruct Stefani. First of all, this is not pedophilia. Stefani is 26. And 2, only you, Louis, is viewing it as such. You also mentioned Kevin hit on 2 kids. You know that Kevin is not a good guy, right? Herbert the Pervert is not a good guy in Family Guy. Oh, wait. But look at how Louis perceives Stefani more.
The show aggressively sexualizes Stefani nearly every time they appear.
The show does? Or do you, Louis? And yes, there is a key difference to that particular question. I mean, when I watched the show, I didn't see anything intentionally sexualized. If Stefani was twerking like the Pop-Up Girls in their 2016 reboot, when twerking is specifically a dance to arouse people to be sexually attracted to someone, in this case a 6-year-old girl, and it is illegal in pretty much all around the world to be attracted to someone 17 or younger, and it is only legal to be sexually attracted to someone 18 and older. My point being, Stefani is not someone that's trying their damnedest to look sexy. I mean, if Louis herself finds Stefani sexy, that's another thing, but my point is, Stefani is not trying to be sexy. Why do you want Stefani intentionally ugly? You basically want her to look like a character from Big Mouth, a show that did show off underage genitals, which is illegal. We also might as well nip this in the bud. In the Steven Universe movie, Greg and Steven fuse, which creates a fusion named Steg. Fusion is a love bond, not a sexual bond. There's a difference, but according to Louis, those are intertwined, which is dangerous. It's the logic that stalkers often have from what I gather. Fusion is not a sexual thing. It's romantic at most. Sometimes it's also a way to increase power. Fuck, even Jasper said that in the season 1 finale. But even then, I see it as more of a bond thing. It's not something like Peter Griffin trying to marry his son Chris Griffin in the Family Guy episode Fresh Air. But that's what Louis does. She'll self-insert her own logic into things. You know, the logic of if you think someone is shit on the internet or in real life, you should shit talk them immediately and not care about the evidence. It's not like you get sued for slander or anything, even though I have been sued for that reason alone. And you, Louis, got sued for that as well, despite you brushing that off as nothing. You claim that the show can't stay focused while you yourself can't stay focused. You rant on Star Wars for 10 minutes straight. The only thing worth bringing up in that part is this statement here.
The Jedi have gotten comfortable with the idea that they will always win against the Sith because good will always triumph over evil, but the Jedi are not the good guys in Star Wars.
What does that have to do with anything?
I said this in my original view, and I will say it again. This feels like Mr. Poe and Yoko from Dorby's.
Strongest Dorby in the world who's loved by every boy and girl and yak. It's Mr. Poe. Und Jürgen, he is very, 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 very nice. It's Mr. Poe und Jürgen.
Something that is off topic and has nothing to do with the main story. Why does he sound like he's crying in the song? Oh, and if you want more in terms of how harsh Louis can be, listen to this.
I know it seems like I've been harsh on Sugar, but in reality, I have been extremely lenient.
Objection! Oh yeah? Well, here's what Louis also said about Sugar 15 minutes later.
Rebecca Sugar is the disease.
It seems to me that your attitude of criticism is be as negative as possible, which is the exact same logic that you use greatly to critique Tommy Oliver. And here you are, having the exact same problem as Tommy Oliver. I could name everything that you call Rebecca in this video, like a pedophile, a Nazi, a racist, and Louis a fucking disease. But I am not going to. Instead, I want to talk about this. This was said from Louis in November 2016, and the other one in January 2015. You insulted Enter because of him being too negative towards real-life people. Here it is, December 14, 2019, and yet you still have the same attitude. An attitude that most people have let go. If Rebel Taxi can fucking apologize for this, the guy that capitalized shit-talking on Enter, what do you have left, Louis, to defend on that merit? Also, by that logic, Mr. Enter is too terrible for a glass of water, but Toon Kritic is justified? That's directly stating to me that a pedophile is better than Enter. What the hell is even worse than a pedophile? A murderer? Animal abuser? A fascist? Oh wait.
Personally, I would never let a child in my care watch Steven Universe. Ever.
Because Steven Universe is a legal drug, not a show about art, smart characters, and clever writing. I mean, it's not like you're better, Louis. Oh wait, this is what Louis has done throughout the whole video. This is what Louis has been saying. Let's have a part where I say that my story is better than the actual story. Let's spend over 10 minutes on Star Wars, which has nothing to do with Steven Universe. Let's insult my boss in here because I have the ability to do so, even though he tried to sue me for defamation. Let's just have everybody who loves the show with good reasons be eradicated because I hate how they enjoy this show. Let's have the Diamonds review as terrible people. Let's have the Pink Diamond Squish be garbage. Let's call Rebecca Sugar a pedophile, a Nazi, and a racist. Let's call Lapis, the one that was actually abused, the abuser. That's like saying in Family Guy Screams the Science that Brenda was the abuser, not Jeff. Let's keep saying that Starlight Glimmer is garbage and not allow room for opinion. If people disagree with me on that, or saying that Lapis was the abuser, delete their comment for that. I cannot accept criticism. Let's just assume that everything on this show was created by Rebecca Sugar and not a single person else. Because, as we all know about the Powerpuff Girls 2016 reboot, Gregory Kraken created everything. And it must be true because his name is always at the beginning of the goddamn credits. That is what Louis has been telling me. All she needs is to mention Toon Kritic in this video, and this Steven Universe's Garbage in His White video would be everything wrong about Louis Orchard sum up into one video. Louis Orchard has watched pretty much every episode of this show and has neglected in enjoying it. In fact, she pretty much went out of her way to piss every person watching this video off. And if you were turned off by her rant and couldn't watch the whole damn thing, I don't blame you. Several comments I received over time, both on my Twitter and my original YouTube video on her, state this. I'm not saying that Steven Universe is a perfect show. No show is. I'm always going to find problems with Steven Universe, like with Steven's birthday being in the middle of the cluster arc. As for Pink Diamond, well, I personally think it would have been better if Rose was separate and maybe that Yellow Diamond was the one who shattered Pink. I am not mad at the actual decision that was made. Okay, I have been holding off this problem for the longest time, so I might as well get it out of my system. The instant redemptions with Starlight Glimmer, or the Diamonds, or whatever, and many more like Fizzlebop Berry Tours, or even Koi from Little Witch Academia. The reason why I don't complain about them is because I honestly enjoyed them. Louis should talk about redemption in this video.
God, what a piece of shit. Just a thoroughly loathsome person. I mean, obviously this show meant something at some point, and I've clearly been passionate about it, otherwise I wouldn't have been taking it apart for 50 pages, and I know Sugar has her deep admirers, but I fucking think the woman's terrible. Why are the targets of redemption always the most nasty, vile creatures imaginable? I'm not the only one who's noticed this, right? When Friendship is Magic started out, the villains were hammy, over-the-top performance pieces. Fun times with fun people who were memorable precisely because of just how extra they were. But when they shifted to redemptions for everyone, suddenly the villains got so much nastier. They went so far over the line and went right for the jugular at every possible opportunity. The movie had this directly contrasted. The villain who dies is a jovial doof, and the one who gets redeemed is far more nasty and vindictive. In Steven Universe, the villains that don't get redeemed are, well, fun Saturday morning cartoon villains. Aquamarine, Malachite, Holly Blue, most of the Corrupted Gems, they're fun, performance-driven characters. In Malachite's case, she does literally nothing until it's time for the boss fight. But when it's time to hand out redemption arcs, it's the fascists and the abusers who get first pick. They're the ones who get the second chances. They're the ones who have to be extended a hand.
And there's no reason for it to be this way. There's no reason why redemption and forgiveness has to be lashed to such monstrous people. If Sugar wanted redemption to be a core element of the series, why aren't the antagonists just domestic problems? People who have personally wronged you or who have been an uncomfortable presence in your life. Things that are relatively small in the grand scheme of things. Sugar loves Beach City so much she spends half the show there, but when it's time to talk about forgiveness, suddenly it's time to turn to the Galactic Empire? My question is always the same. Why them? Why the Diamonds? Why Rose? Why Lapis? Why Andy? Lars, Ronaldo, hell even Kevin are all sitting there with infinitely less horrific baggage that you could easily write a satisfying and far more impactful redemption arc where they actually earn that forgiveness and wouldn't reflect so badly on Sugar. And in all my years of asking that question, be it the Diamonds or Starlight or whoever the fucking terrorist getting a redemption is this week, nobody's ever been able to answer why they had to be this fucking extreme.
Why am I fine with Starlight being redeemed? Because she became a student at Twilight's and Twilight took direct care of her. Why am I fine with Cozy Glow going to prison? She fucking tried to end the world and show no remorse. I'm fine with the Diamonds going after Steven because the Diamonds were after Rose Quartz and they thought that Steven was Rose and they thought that Steven shared Pink Diamond. And Pink Diamond could not go back to her original self because of her lie. Going back to her original self would have had Blue, Yellow, White shatter her, distance their lives from her, imprison her, or considering what Steven Universe Future hinted.
For pearls exhibiting problems this severe, rejuvenation is required.
What?
When the process is complete, they will obey you without fail.
No, what have I done?
Could have been rejuvenated. Also, Croy and Chariot were friends. That's why I forgive them. Do I think that any of these stories could have been better? Absolutely. But if I actually like the story, and if the characters in universe are fine with it, and the redemption as well, then I legitimately do not see the problem that motherfucking cunty slander ass Orchard has been saying throughout all of her videos. Not just this one, other ones like Forgive and Fuck Yourself, Punitive Damages, 70 times 7, and much more. I mean, I could easily rage quit at Lily like I did in my original video, but I don't feel like doing that anymore, because it is just not worth my time. Lily has proven to me that this is how she is going to be for the rest of her life. She's going to stay in her echo chamber, and die in it. It may take a year, 5 years, a decade, half a century, I don't know, but this is the path that she has chosen. Why did the Diamonds want to kill Steven and his family reunited? Because they thought that Steven was Rose Quartz that shot Pink Diamond 6,000 years ago. Why did Pink not want to do her job currently 6,000 years ago? Because she wanted to protect the humans of the Earth. And if she did not do that, then the humans would not exist at all. This is how Lily will be. And whenever you try to disagree with her, she calls you a pedophile Nazi that forgives literally everybody. People aren't like that. I am not a pedophile or Nazi or a pedophile Nazi. And more than likely, you are not one either watching this video. But that's not what's important right now. You fail to credit an artist when you use their art, Lily. Just credit the damn artist. And let's not forget this.
Pink Diamond is one of 3 characters, the others being Starlight Glimmer and Varian, who, after learning their origin story that was clearly set up to seem sympathetic, made me sit back and go, what a cunt. What an unbelievable cunt.
I could do the same thing, Lily, for YouTubers that I used to love that I now hate. Lily Orchard, Douglas Walker, and Zachary Case are the 3 YouTubers I used to follow and watch are now I say, fuck these assholes, what cunts that these 3 are. And I can even do the top 5 characters. Remember Lily's top 5? Well, I have my own top 5 list of characters right here. You can notice that Starlight and Akko are on the best side, but so is Peridot as well. And you can see Green Lantern as the worst. Starlight Glimmer is the best character ever because, fuck you, Lily. You know what? I just want to end this stupid rant. But we're not done yet. We have yet to even talk about the worst thing about Lily Orchard. That's right, throughout this entire video, you have seen me talk about the problems with Lily Orchard, but never the specific worst thing that she has ever done. You ready to hear that? Let's do this. Before I end this section, there is one last thing that I wanted to talk about. There are plenty of things I glossed over, like how Lily ranted on the animation is bad part, though I think Robot Buddies did that better on her rant. I wanted to talk about the worst thing that Lily Orchard has ever done in the 200 plus videos of hers that I have watched from her. You might think it was her shit-talking Starlight Glimmer or Akko or shows like Friendship is Magic or Steven Universe or Korra or her throwing Josh Scorcher under the bus with the Toon Kritic situation or her artist meltdown. But nope, it's none of those things. You might be thinking, her philosophies then? Kind of, but not the exact 100% truth. In my original Louis Orchard rant, the part that pissed me off the most was when she shit-talked the Diamonds, and Redemption in general when she hated on Starlight Glimmer. And that part still pisses me off to this day. But that, in my eyes, is no longer the worst part. If you're wondering what I think the worst part is today, it's her stance on Lapis. Let's talk about Lapis's role in the show Steven Universe first before I get to Louis' point on her. She has been trapped for thousands of years inside a mirror due to the Crystal Gem War, and thus this is why Lapis hated the Crystal Gems in Season 1. In the episode Mirror Gem, Steven freed Lapis from the mirror. And then after Lapis removed all the ocean water in Beach City in the next episode, Ocean Gem, Lapis listens to Steven. Steven heals Lapis. Lapis then puts the water back and goes back into space, where she explores space for the first time in thousands of years, which she was bubbled into by Bismuth. The message sends a warning to Steven about Peridot and Jasper. Jasper enslaves Lapis, then Jasper captured her, and Peridot imprisoned her, hence why Lapis is tense with Peridot in Season 3. In Jailbreak, Jasper wanted to kill Steven, because she thought he was Rose Quartz, because she thought that Steven shared Pink Diamond, and that Rose was in a disguise. I mean, she's right in the sense of logic, even though Rose Quartz is Pink Diamond, but no one knew that yet. To keep Jasper away from killing Steven, Lapis does the only thing that she can do. Fuse with Jasper to form Malachite. Then Lapis controls Malachite and allows herself to take down Jasper and take her to the bottom of the ocean. And the Season 2 episode, Chilted, it is shown that not only can Lapis talk to Steven in his dreams, but it's shown that Lapis is still at the bottom of the ocean, forcing Jasper down so that Jasper doesn't go after Steven and try to kill him. Which works until the Season 3 premiere, Super Watermelon Island, where Malachite, now more controlled by Jasper, goes after the citizens of Watermelon Island. Alexandrite stops Malachite because Steven was busy with Peridot stopping the cluster. Lapis was saved by Amethyst, wakes up in the same old world, and then has to deal with Peridot and Barmaid. Put yourself in Lapis's shoes for a minute here. How would you feel if the person that captured you attempted to not only murder the person that saved you, but his plan as well, and now at the same time, this person hired essentially a bounty hunter, that being Jasper in this case, to kill your favorite person, and then tell me after all that shit they would be forced to live together? Lapis is not putting up with that shit. No one in their right fucking minds would. Lapis is a victim of tons of abuse, and they show this across multiple episodes. Lapis ran away from Earth due to the fact that she has a fear of a fucking war coming. That would make anyone paranoid. Lapis has been trapped inside a mirror for thousands of years. She doesn't want to go through that again, and no one should go through that again. But even still, even after her run away in the episode Raising the Barn, and even refusing Steven the first time and can't go back, Lapis comes back to Earth in the episode Reunited to stop the Diamonds. And guess what? She goes poof in that episode. That's the last of the episodes that Louis' video showcases other than Lakes from Here to Homeworld, but that had nothing to do with Lapis, plus she was only in her gem form with Bismuth taking care of her. But I can say that she helps out the fight against White Diamond in the episode Change Your Mind, and Lapis is even friends again with Peridot and Bismuth 2 years after that in the Steven Universe movie. With all that said, with all the motherfucking abuse shit that Lapis had to suffer through, how does Louis Orchard, a person that many people have looked to and have said that is a great person to deal with abuse in relationships, especially with their video on Toon Kritic called Blame and Groom, and how hundreds, if not thousands of people have said to her that Louis Orchard has helped them get out of their own real-life abusive relationships, how does Louis Orchard respond to Lapis?
I've got to hold us down with the weight of your planet's ocean. I liked taking everything out on you.
I know I'm not the only one who notices this, but in every case that is supposed to demonstrate the unhealthy relationship between Lapis and Jasper, it's Lapis who is the abuser in that scenario. She pulled a fast one on Jasper by agreeing to fuse, only to then trap them at the bottom of the ocean, kept her chained there for over a year, and then admitted to it. This doesn't even go to Sugar's usual problem of just disregarding things in previous episodes to suit her tunnel vision. The episode that's supposed to establish Lapis as an abuse victim does the exact opposite because Sugar writes like somebody who has never left her fucking house, or indeed spoken to another human being. Even after this blunder, Lapis continues to be a pretty nasty person. Now that's to be expected. Anybody who has even a cursory experience with abuse knows that it does not create nice people, and it's just as easy to believe that Lapis's trauma comes from being trapped in the mirror for thousands of years instead. It wasn't the fact that Lapis was a raging shitheel that made her so contentious. It was the fact that she repeatedly took that out on the one character people actually liked. You see, audiences are biased by nature, and the quickest way for a character to piss away any any sympathy one might have had for them is to kick the fandom's favorite person. Peridot was that character, and arguably the most well-designed crystal gem the series had. She had a good redemption arc, actually helped save the world, mouth off to a fascist dictator, actually learned to deal with her problems, and outside of those instances was one of the funniest characters in the supporting cast. And she was the one who reached out to Lapis and tried really hard to make her feel welcome, despite Lapis treating her like dirt at every possible opportunity. What inevitably happened was Lapis found a new victim, but because Sugar continues to write for the character she thinks she wrote rather than the one that she actually wrote, and has an understanding of abuse on par with Dr. Wolf, this all goes unaddressed and more time is spent reinforcing how sad and angsty Lapis is. This all comes to a very heated conclusion in Raising the Bar, where the fear of being caught up in another war makes Lapis want to leave Earth. The entire episode is one long string of Lapis being the fucking worst. Imagine writing out and animating a scene this sinister looking and still being under the impression that you're writing an abuse victim. Now, this could have all been potentially interesting. I like the idea, need to reinforce the idea, of a story about an abuser going through their own personal redemption story, changing their ways, making a turnaround for themselves. But that idea can only happen when the writer is aware of who this character is, and Sugar remains blissfully ignorant of that fact. You can see this clearly in the episodes where Lapis's trauma is the central focus. When in this position, she's almost a completely different person, which is jarring to say the least.
I don't really know how to respond to that. I really don't. Actually, I think I do. But I talk about another person. Someone specifically that Louis shit-talked a few months before she made this Steven review. Zachary Case, better known as Toon Kritic. Believe it or not, Toon and Louis have the exact same problem. I don't mean when it comes to children, but rather the definition of victim. You see, throughout the entirety of late January of 2018, before Toon went offline for the longest time before being out again earlier this year in 2019 within the Sonic fandom, Toon kept saying that he was a victim, not the abuser. He cybersexed a 14-year-old from the Philippines while Toon was 24, a decade difference in age, and he had plans to have sex with her at BronyCon 2018. And when Toon was rightfully outed, he threw all his victims under the bus. I want to state that sentence again. He threw his victims under the bus. Zach was the abuser and everyone that he groomed, including Patchworkheart, were his victims. This is important because when Lily wrote this, sure, she was a piece of shit because she threw Josh and everyone else under the bus for jumping to conclusions, but there is one very important key factor to the situation that she got right. Toon was the abuser, and that he needed to pay, and that his dark and depressing situation was not an excuse. Especially since a Google search and 5 minutes of reading would teach you correctly about consent and porn laws. Many people have flocked to Lily because in their eyes she was doing the quote-unquote right thing, at least more than Dr. Wolf and Josh at the moment. Lily was helping people out of abusive relationships. Now look where she is a few months later, by her saying that Lapis was the abuser. It is literally showcasing that Toon's victims were the abusers. By having Jasper, the one who wanted to kill Steven, be the victim, you have Toon, the guy who wanted to have sex with dozens of underage girls, be the victim. That is the logic that you yourself just showcased, Lily. It really is up there with Family Guy screams of silence the story of Brenda Quagmire with this line from Glenn Quagmire.
Sadly, the fact that you are with Jeff proves to me that you have made a choice to make your life worse.
There is legitimately no difference. You made a fucking video talk about abusive relationships. I'm sorry, 2 videos if you count the addendum just 8 months prior to this. And yet, you don't even understand abusive relationships, Lily. You are pretty much using the exact same claims that Zachary Case did when it comes to abuse. Claiming that you yourself as the victim, showcasing the abuser as the victim. Gee, this might be a sign to why one of your favorite Family Guy episodes is Screams of Silence. In the Josh Scorcher falling out in 2016, you claimed that you were the victim and not Josh, solely on the fact that Josh was your boss, because 100% of the time the employee is always the victim. That is not always the case. Whenever you have an opinion on something, you must have everyone agree with you, and if someone disagrees with you, even on one thing, you block them and get them out of your life. I mean, my original rant on you, Lily, has over 175,000 views and over 2,000 comments. Your Steven Universe video has currently 3.5 million views, but only 164 comments. It's not like YouTube censors your comments or anything, this is just you not being able to accept criticism. Robobuddies at least can, and she has way less views on her. Like what, 2 million? Which is what, half of what you got, Lily? She kept her likes and dislikes on, and it actually seems to stay positive. And look how many comments there are, like 13,000. But what bugs me the most about Lily, after what she said on Lapis, is that she doesn't understand abuse. Yeah, she listed on her She-Ra glass of water what abuse she went through in 2018, but that only goes so far when you don't seem to understand the difference between abuser and victim. Little children, like elementary school kids, know the difference between an abuser and a victim. Lily, you are just like Toon. You both have failed to understand your failures, and you have just brushed them off. A tactic that true abusers seem to really do. And look at what you say in your next part with Jasper.
Jasper was arguably the first villain the show ever had.
The fact that you address her as a villain. What the fuck am I even supposed to say about that when it comes to Lapis?
So Jasper and Kevin are terrible, but the consistently worse Diamonds, Lars, Ronaldo, Lapis, and Andy are sympathetic.
And every time someone brings this up to you, Louie, saying that Lapis was the abuser, you shun them out. Are you sure Lizzie abused you, Louie? Because with logic that you gave for Lapis, it sounded like you were the abuser. Oh wait, your logic is that Josh abused you because he fired you. I mean, I know how you treat your fans, Louie.
Proceeding to tell the author to just turn off the comments already because fans don't know shit.
Fans do not know shit. That is exactly what you just said, Louie. Try telling that to your fans, Louie, after them watching your Steven Universe video or whatever. They offer a suggestion and then you ban it forever because they didn't think you were 100% perfect. Before I get to the epic conclusion in the song that I made, I want to read this comment from my original video that I got from my original Louie rant, from someone named I Wanna Be Yahtzee. The point where I was done with Louie was when I left a comment on the video she did about Jasper and Lapis' dynamic. I have always held that their relationship was mutually abusive, and I left a comment saying so in a respectful way. Louie responded to my comment essentially saying, "There are no mutual abusive relationships. Lapis is the abuser, period." She was telling me what the correct interpretation was, and leaving no room for argument. She couldn't even give her fans the benefit of acknowledging a different opinion. I was fed up with her arrogance and her smugness, so I finally unsubscribed. And that, in my eyes, is awful. If you can't put up with different opinions from your fans, don't go into creation. It's like you're preaching to a brick wall. Your opinion is the only one correct that is allowed to exist, right? Anyone that does not ass-kiss you is in the wrong. You know what? Let's just get to the conclusion already. I already wrote over 10,000 words for this one section alone. I need the biggest video that I've ever made in my entire life to finally end. This is essentially the length of a Harry Potter movie. Extra part. The problem with Louie's videos, this one and Korra, is that she calls them both garbage in order to do clickbait and gain a lot of views. Oh really, Rebecca? A video titled X is garbage and here's why just to gain more views? Gee, I wonder what this video is called. Okay, I walked into that one. But I only called it that as a parody of Louie's videos in general. As in, I wouldn't call my video this if Louie didn't call her video what she does now. It's obvious that my least favorite video from Louie Orchard is the Steven Universe's Garbage Here's Why video. I mean, I wrote 23 pages on that one section alone and that lasted what? Over half an hour? It was over 10,000 words as well. That also seems to be most people's least favorite video of Louie's, because Louie acts like Diana Cavendish but ranked up to 11 and nothing more than a narcissistic stereotype of herself. But what about my favorite video of Louie's? I mean, I have seen 200 plus of her videos. Out of like 585 videos, and over 50 of them came out after my first Louie rant. So you're probably curious which videos of Louie's I like the most. There are plenty to like. Most of them are before summer 2016. That's when Louie was at her best. But I did pick a single video of Louie's that I love the most. It's this video right here called Glass of Art. Why is the puppet female? It's a small, short, sweet, simple video. Here, I'll play the entire thing for you because I love you making it this far.
So a few days ago, I threw up a straw poll asking you guys if I should give you a straight answer as to why my review puppet is a mare and a woman. I'll be honest, I always had a certain degree of fun watching people trying to guess. But unfortunately, that kind of fun gets old after a while and you start regarding the comments as spam. So I decided to ask you guys if you really wanted to know if you're one to keep playing the guessing game. And the results were... oh. Well, I guess I brought this upon myself. Well, okay then, that's why. Bye! Are they gone?
No, we're still here.
Curses.
I loved it because Lily finally came out of the closet, admitting her true sexuality in a positive light. And it was funny, and that's what I miss from Lily. Comedy. You know how Emp Lemon once divided the commentary community between H3 and Levy is here? while H3 is positive and Leafy negative. I kinda see that myself with Louie and I. We're both transgender critics and also brony editors for bronies that are both bigger than us. And yet, I represent the positive comedic happy side, while Louie showcases the dark, cynical, and angry side. You probably have noticed that throughout this video, I never once said to attack Louie. That's because by doing so, I would be no better than Louie. A person who has actively told her followers to attack people that she hates, like Josh Corser's D&D videos, just to name an example. Let me put it like this. Louie Orchard has repeatedly shit-talked Rebecca Sugar. What if someone were to go to a Comic-Con that had Rebecca Sugar at it, and Sugar was attacked, and the attacker stated, "Sugar, you're such a fucking creep," and they announced that they did it because they were following your rule, Louie? If that were to occur, you would be the primary suspect. Granted, you have no monetary interest in going to a con unless it was called Louie Con or something along those lines. You have had bullying tactics so toxic and so much of it to the point that I don't think I have the ability to even name all them. Hey, remember Etika? He was a YouTuber earlier this year that did reactions to video games, mostly Nintendo. People drove into depression so much with that fucking clown meme that he actually killed himself. The New York Police Department actually had to state this in a public setting because of how big it got. The Manhattan Bridge to this day has a small memorial dedicated to him. As I'm making this video, I had just found out that PewDiePie just got robbed, and people are cheering because Felix was robbed, even though that you should never cheer if someone gets robbed. Grow the fuck up. You are an awful person if you want someone to live in fear. You can dislike his videos, but this is bullshit. And then there's that Steven Universe video that you made. Yes, that video was critique to hell and back. Yes, it's also been memed to death, more than the Emoji Movie. Yes, it would have had as many dislikes as Pollution Entertainment's video on the cat murder, or even YouTube Rewind both 2018 and 2019, had you not disabled likes and dislikes on all your videos. Fuck, I made a joke animation on it in the style of extra credits. Most people set out goals to be beloved by a specific person, maybe their idol. Me? My goal is to be hated by you, which is a backwards achievement to say the least. You claim that you want to be more comedic, or rather all entertainment should be comedic. Funny, your Steven Universe videos in a minute are much better than your actual Steven rant. I actually really loved your Hit the Diamond video, to be 100% honest. It was a funny video, even if it was just one joke for 3 minutes straight. Your Steven Universe video would have been better if you had jokes like your opening to your video on the return/jailbreak.
Okay, Billy, what's on the agenda for today? Crusaders of the Lost Mark! What's that about? The Cutie Mark Crusaders helped Diamond Tiara run against Pipsqueak for class president! You know what? I'm really not in the mood for a CMC episode, especially not something that mundane. Let's do something else. What do? Do we do Ruby again? Nah, let's do something new. Just pick a show and we'll do that. Anything you want, Billy. I walked into that one, didn't I?
This quote-unquote empire of yours, Louie, is not going to last forever. A couple of nice comments saying that they love you or that your videos are good, as well as a few Patreon supporters, is not going to last forever. If you keep shit-talking people, people are going to want you to shit-talk people more. And if you change your topic, people will lose interest. As I'm writing this, you're losing subscribers. That should be some kind of sign. It seems to me that whenever you attack criticism, you seem to go after the idiot comments. No, you hate Friendship is Magic now, and you expect everyone else to do so, even though I personally love seasons 8 and 9. You talk about the LGBT community a lot, and know plenty of it since you know what the polyamory flag is, but the way that you want LGBT characters written is for them to have no flaws. You call LGBT animation right now in a dark age, when in reality, this is literally the first time that it has been accepted. Not the first to show it, we have had it shown to us since the 90s with Rocko's Modern Life and The Simpsons. You also claim to know everything about animation without going into the fundamental practices of Cartoon Network. Hey Louie, you should learn on how Cartoon Network treated the regular show finale, or Galactic Kids Next Door, a show that does not exist, to make way for the quote-unquote high demand for another Powerpuff Girls, which was a claim pull out of much of their asses. Also, PPG has worse LGBT stances than, what's called Stefani stances, much worse than Steven Universe. Why don't you go after that show again? I will say this, once again, if you take out the criticisms, or for a much of a better word, insults that Cunty Orchard uses on Steven Universe, and use the actual criticisms that she gave on Steven Universe and onto Powerpuff Girls, not only would that make for a much better review, but it would be more in line with your criticism. Hide your gays? I'm sorry, but I fail to see how Steven Universe is hiding its gays. No, you want each LGBT character to be openly gay from the start and have them married to the same right from the get-go and have it shoved down the audience's throat. If Has-Been Hotel fails, it will probably be because it went that route. Because as we all know, being gay has never had people killed or even arrested. We even had their family members tell them they were in denial of their sexuality and them saying that being gay is a sin. Replace the song Giant Woman with being LGBT and you get Lily, except being a cunty orchard about it. You claim that LGBT characters in Let's Core and Steven Universe are flannelized and boring, and yet you want everyone to be gay and have no flaws, ignoring the fact that gay people in real life have had to do immense suffering. My mom is currently not letting me come to terms that I'm a woman and not a man, so to speak, and it's making me try to deny it, even though I believe I am more of a woman. For the love of God, there was a plot point in the Rocko's Modern Life revival Static Cling and that came out this year, 4 days before my 23rd birthday, believe it or not. For all that you shit talked on Toon Kritic and pedophiles in general, and you saying that not only is it legal to do child porn fanfics, but you think those types of people that should be reprimanded for that, you have also written a fanfic 5 years ago with fictional characters doing that exact same thing. I'm surprised that your Steven Universe video didn't talk about Rebecca Shuri yaoi fanfic of Ed and Eddie, or the time Steven Universe was naked. You also threw Joshua Byrne and Brent Wilson under the bus for what you thought was a situation handled badly. Yes, it should have been better, with Zach getting arrested instead of him being free still, but no one knew the full extent of the situation. And Josh also went to the FBI and the Chicago Police Department, and Dr. Wolf has released an apology on the issue. Remember, Lightning Bliss once said, "We're not flawless, we're work in progress." Yes, that was stolen from Famous Fortune, but whatever, I love that episode. You claim that you know everything about handling domestic abuse, and yet 2 of your favorite episodes of Family Guy are very terrible portrayals of domestic abuse, being Seahorse Seashell Party and Screams of Silence. You also state that Lapis is the abuser, despite the one being abused. Once again, if you knew the correct situation with Toon Kritic, why did you backpedal on that like 8 months later? Oh, the schedule in Steven Universe is messed up? Well, let's blame Sugar entirely on that. It's not like CN was more monetarily invested in Teen Titans Go, making Teen Titans Go fuck over every other cartoon on the network like Steven Universe. Because of TTG, I believe that was the reason why the Steven Universe movie couldn't be in theaters. And yet Steven Universe is actually the most popular show on Cartoon Network right now with Steven Universe Future. TTG makes less than 500,000 views per episode now. You claim that Josh abused you, even though that you were clearly the one doing so. This would be like if I made a video shit talking about all of Mr. Enter's Growing Around projects, got fired for him doing so, and me saying that he was an abuser. Even though in real life I actually enjoy Growing Around, even though I also in real life I think that John is a respectable person, I really love his works. Louis, you also shit talk anyone that misgenders anyone automatically, when 99% of children aren't taught about LGBT people. Fuck, I never even heard of being LGBT at all until high school, which I started in 2011. Just watch Long Beach Gruffy. He does excellent satirization on this subject matter alone. Why do so many people care about Louis Orchard still after Basebreaker? And if you did ever want to watch Louis' videos to see if they are good, I recommend doing any video before Basebreaker, because before then was when her videos were funny and not on left-leaning politics. Guard Break was just the final straw. Ironic that it was released on MLP's anniversary, a show all about friendship, and this video ended a friendship. You claim that you critique the show from a child's perspective and how cartoons should only be for kids, and yet you tell children the best way to stop a bully or conservative is to kill them. If the Orlando shooting of 2016 never happened, I don't think Louis would have gotten political. And why do you care about United States politics? You live in Canada. You're also Native American. Shouldn't you be more invested in Canadian politics since those affect you and not American politics? Maybe this is just an ignorant thing upon myself, but I don't really care about the politics of a country that has no effect on me. I barely even care about the politics that do affect me. Gee, which character should I display Louis Orchard as? Should I pick Margie from Codename Kids Next Door, i.e. the girl that wanted everyone to become a female, since Louis is only interested in gay princesses, and not gay princes, if you'll note? Or should I use the World of Warcraft guy from South Park to describe you, since you talk about World of Warcraft so much? Fuck it, I'm gonna say you're the child of those two. Also, I still fail to see how doing the dishes and sweeping every day is abuse. I mean, if it was like how Eustace from Courage the Cowardly Dog treated Courage, that'd be one thing, but you treat it as just a normal thing. If Mr. Enter continued to insult writers like he did 5 years ago to today, he would be just like you, Louis. And yet, you complain about him doing that exact thing, while simultaneously doing that. No, Louis Orchard is not a hypocrite at all. Oh wait, what was that on self-improvement?
Maybe I should stick to being relentlessly critical.
I see. Typical. I want to end off with the question that I asked at the beginning. What is the evilest thing in existence? The answer is teachers. I know what you're thinking. Those type of people that help teach children? Not exactly. I'm talking the more technical term. Teachers are a double-edged sword. If you teach them the right things, like life lessons, how to protect yourself, or eat any good messages from good cartoons, then you'll be on the right track. But a teacher could always teach them either false information, or teach them illegal information. Think Miss Stevenson from South Park, but taken seriously.
I should really start doing a Politics 101 series.
No, just don't. You're bad at it. And Lily's teaching is nothing more than her being a hypocritical bully that can't accept criticism, and expecting all her followers to do the exact same thing. You have made too many enemies, Louis. You really are the leafiest here of the brony fandom, and this is the last time I'm ever going to talk about you. And ironic is at the end of the decade. The next decade, I'm not going to talk about you ever. I wanted to end this video off with a new joke for this video, but I couldn't think of anything better than that joke of me of Starlight Glimmer from A Man of Principles uses a laser to destroy Louis Orchard. You know what? Let's play that anyway. People really love that joke, and they loved it even more when I put in that one album animation for Mr. Enter that I did on The Simpsons Stark Raven Dad. And that's why Louis Orchard is still garbage.
The point of today's video is that I'm a professional, and that I'm right about Starlight, and you're not, because fuck you. Now give me money.
Star Giant Productions out. This video took an entire month to make, people.
The deed is finally done. Time to have some real fun. What the heck is wrong with you, Lily? You used to be really silly. You used to bring me a smile before your new trend had reviled. You were great at criticism, no need to talk about fascism. You and Josh were both fun to watch. You wanna hit him in the crotch. It was a funny joke back then, wish I could see that fun again. But then you had to go and pout, yet now you just hate us and shout. Fuck off and die, 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 fuck off and die. What's wrong with my lovely Starlight? She's a character that's so fun and bright. Why did you have to go a tech tune? You did that video way too darn soon. Enter doesn't attack us anymore. Why with sugar you're such a bore? Telling kids to murder is bad. Hearing that thought just makes me mad. Who are you trying to impress? All you ever do is cause stress. Korra and Steven are perfect. It's sad you give them no respect. Sugar, you're a fucking creep. That mindset sends you so down deep. You helped me realize that I'm trans. Gave me some interesting plans. You helped me become an editor. Then there was that damn predator. You wrote that fanfic on Rainbow. Why did you have to stoop so low? So low. Your criticism really stinks. What's that thing you did to ink? Lily, you are here to stay. Hope you pack along some bug spray. You were fired, get over it. It sucks, I know, stop being shit. You make us all want to cry, and yet you stay fuck off and die. You have some trouble staying clean, saying Josh ain't a real Marine. You disable ratings because you failed, wanting Josh to go and be jailed. I feel so sad for this whole event. I feel sad in Lily's